Illuminati coming. Yeah, Illuminati coming. You know you want it. This Illuminati coming.
Learn about the full history of the Bavarian Illuminati. Adam Weishaupt, Alumbrados, Jesuits, Rosicrucians, Freemasons, and more. From the 18th century to modern day, we expose it all. That's right, it's the Illuminati comic from Donut and Paranoid American. Get yours now at IlluminatiComic.com.
Layla hates her hotties. Oh yeah, Layla, she hates her hotties. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, she hates the hotties. Oh yeah. She hates the hotties.
Britney Spears, can we be saved? God, why is Satan controlling the universe?
The world we used to think we knew is constantly exposing rule. Our possibilities come true. So what we do is call out to the good guys, good guys. Witches, widows, MAGA, mystics, entertaining cunning linguists, good guys. The forum of the quorum needs a secretive society to advance our philosophies intentionally, magically, good guys. Conspiracy, sex, culture, making it's okay to change your thinking, good guys. Good guys, good guys, good guys. The world we used to think we knew is constantly exposing rule. Our possibilities come true. So what we do is call out to the good guys, good guys. Witches, widows, MAGA, mystics, entertaining cunning linguists, good guys. The forum of the quorum needs a secretive society to advance our philosophies intentionally, magically, good guys. Conspiracy, sex, culture, making it's okay to change your thinking, good guys. Good guys, good guys, good guys.
Big up yourselves. Friday night. Welcome back to another episode of the Secret Society of Good Guys. Those of you who make it here first, you're going to hear us say it the most. Make sure you hit the thumbs up, the like, and subscribe, and make sure you follow on our X and Rumble because YouTube don't like us very much, especially this week. Thomas got in trouble.
I still love you, YouTube.
Shame, shame, shame.
Can't abide by the rules.
I like what you say though, is that refuse to leave the battlefield. So even if they take it down, I'll come back as Paranoid American number 2, or you know, slightly more Paranoid American, or whatever it needs to be. I'll keep bringing the content to the normies because I don't want to just keep fishing in the same pond and, you know, preaching to the same choir. Like, more normies need to be exposed to this stuff.
Yes, they do. Majorly.
Yeah. I totally agree. I
was just talking with Donna on the live streams that we're doing almost every night at like 11. But I've been this year. I mentioned this to you guys, I think earlier this year, and I've actually been doing it. I've been watching a bunch of Lifetime and Hallmark movies with the intention to like find some sort of symbolism or, you know, motifs or something in those. And I think that maybe for next year, I don't have all the notes prepared and the right movies selected, but I've been doing the hard work of actually watching all these and getting a decent idea of all of them. So what would be more normie than that? And me and Chaney, we're working on a Housewives sort of thing. Like 2025 is the year to start infiltrating all the normie spaces. Like let's find the safe spaces and let's put some propaganda inside of those safe spaces.
What's that new app? Blue Sky? We should
infiltrate. We need to just start taking over
that
Blue
bitch.
Sky.
Blue Sky, you're on notice, bitch. Just so you know.
Doesn't that seem so much more fun if we take over Blue Sky than X?
Cue it up, baby. Let's cue it up.
Blue Sky, you're on notice.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, shit. Okay. Yeah, that was the other thing, too, is always Donut is always allowed to come in Good Guy. But we didn't know also that if you wanted to come Good Guy without Donut, so do we have to ask Donut through you now to come Good Guy? Or does sometimes...
I'm not Donut's keeper.
Okay. All right.
You would have to, if anything, you have to ask Chan. Chan seems to be his keeper.
In the hierarchy, who's higher, the Jew or the Mason?
Well, the way that I hear it described is that Jews are just wannabe, that Freemasons are just Gentiles that want to be Jews. So technically, I guess a Jew would be higher than a Mason on that scale.
I beg to disagree, but okay.
That's based on that claim that Freemasons are just Gentiles that want to be Jews.
No, because this is what happened. Because paganism was a thing, okay, and they didn't have religion; they were free peoples. And then the Jews came and said, either you believe or you die, and that's what the pagans were fighting, was Marxism, and that's what we fight today, is the propaganda of Israel, which is Marxism, Mossad, and it's like fucking history repeats itself over and over again. That's what I'm finding out through my digs. But yeah, I don't know shit. I'm just asking questions, you know.
What do you know about Albert Pike?
So Albert Pike, in his book, let me just pull it up because I have a bad memory, apparently. And I will just read to you what he claims in his book. And I
My
found
guess
it
is it's morals and
fascinating.
dogma. That's usually what everyone quotes.
It's Irano-Aryan Faith and Doctrine, Zend Avestin by Albert Pike. And he
Hmm.
talks about Irano-Aryan faith and doctrine. And he says the Hellenic language had but one successor. The Albanian spoken is the ancient Illyrism, and Epirus offers a problem that no one is able to solve, whether it's Celtic or Illyrians or an independent idiom spoken before an Aryan, any Aryan migration, or Tartaric or Thracian, or chiefly Indo-Germanic or Aryan. The philologists, I think that's what it says, cannot agree. Professor Pott thinks that Albanians and Illyrians and these best answer to the name of Paljasoy. He says that the Illyrians were not Gothic or Sclavonic, Finns or Turks or anything in fact but a, a touchathones, which means indigenous people of Europe. So like they're the original. If you go back to the family tree of languages, like the bottom fucking branch. It's the only one by itself. And pretty much every language from that language roots out and expands. So I could take any language, take a word from it, and find what it means to the root word and find what it actually means through the Albanian language. Like Aphrodite, they say is the goddess of beauty, but it's actually the goddess of Venus, which is the star closest to the day, which is what it literally means, Aphrodita. It's the luminary closest to the day. So I don't know. It's just making a lot of sense to me.
Well, this is a way cooler version of the box saga without all the sticky mess that comes with it, because the whole premise is that you try and figure out this root language, and then you assign that root language as the sort of like the uncorrupted version of all these different words.
Yeah,
So like
like
you can break it down into those different syllables and find the etymology. And I guess what Albert Pike was saying in that book too was that it's remarkable that the Albanians, out of everybody else in that entire region, the Albanians are the ones that have their own like original history that wasn't caught. And I've heard the exact same things about Slovenians, that the Slovenian people are usually grouped into the surrounding cultures, but that the Slovenes, they have their own like sort of root language and their own root everything that usually gets enveloped by the larger, more popular cultures.
yeah, it's
So
just
it's called
wild.
the Veneti people, Veneti, I think.
Yeah, like I
My
even
son is
found proof of how
Slovenian.
like our language is even tied to the ancient Egyptian language, and I could decipher that with what I have. And I'm trying to put everything together, but I'm working so hard. But like Thoth, for instance, Thoth is actually thought, thoughty. Thought means the word, and he's the one who brought the word. That's what literally it means. He brought language into this world. So thought means to speak, and he brought the spoken word. So it's just a lot of these words
Do you
that I'm
think that
deciphering
is why
make
they give him a
sense.
bird head? Like
The
instead of
eagle,
it just being
falcon,
like they're like, oh, the bird sings. Like
mm,
he brought word.
mhm,
Instead of us losing it, like thought becomes thought and wisdom
mhm.
and intelligence and all these other words that dissect how much you can like memorize and regurgitate, whether it's there is a right or wrong or true to it at all.
Well, thought also has a voice, but it's not like a spoken voice. It's a voice that you hear. No, it's still words, but it's just a mental word. It's a mental thought, a mental word. So thoughty, thought, it all connects in that sense of like spoken or the word. Strange. But I don't know anything. Just so you know, Greece was founded in 1831. There was a place called Graecia, which means women were walking, meaning what's the other place? Tanagra. There you go, Tanagra. That's another place that still exists today, but we're saying it wrong. It means the way to say it is Tanagra, which means the land of all women, which was close to Graecia, where the free walking women were. Like they walked freely. That's what it literally means. Tanagra means all women, and Graecia means free women walking.
You think they were like, "Yo, I'm free walking here"?
I'm
Well, when you-
walking
well,
over here freely.
Tanagra and all of their history of what Tanagra was, it's all sculptures of fucking women. So what I'm saying, like, literally legitimizes what I'm saying, because their history is all fucking statues of women and tons of women. Who these figures are, I don't know. I'm looking into it, but it's just all tying together and making sense. And then Albert Pike and what I'm finding out with like dragon history, with Christianity. It's blowing my mind. Britain, the light of Britannia, how we created Britain, and the Scots wearing the kilts and the whole fucking bag. We had that for like thousands of years, and I'm like, this is just blowing my mind. What is truth and what is not truth?
There's another really interesting thread here too. I recently talked to, well, I think her name was Carla Ionescu, and she heads this thing called the Goddess Project. And she's from what I can tell, she's the world's foremost authority on Artemis, who is the counterpart of Diana. And one of the things that she pointed out, which was blowing my mind, was that everywhere you find a temple of Apollo, the sun god, the male deity, like today, you go into the museums and he gets all the top billing. And but if you actually go and look around for the real temples, the ones that are still existing, many times they're dwarfed by these temples to Artemis, or these temples to Diana, because she was the real one that people were worshiping, and Apollo kind of took a second seat to that. He was a much later addition, but then over time he becomes more popular and he dwarfs, he shadows Artemis. So I think that this exact same history kind of repeats itself.
Dude, there's something to it. I believe that we were living in a matriarchy, and somewhere in history when religion came into play and the whole Adam and Eve story, because obviously Cain, Abel, and the other one married other women. Where did they come from? Other tribes, but they don't talk about it. So this is like proof to me that this whole idea of religion is like a controlled Marxism that came along and said, no, we need to control these people. We need to make money. And this is what's happening today. It's like a repeat. And people were free. They didn't need government. They didn't need control religion. They didn't need any of that. Just like the Native Americans here in the United States, they had their tribes, they had their elders. That's how it was in Europe. They had their tribes, they had their elders, and there weren't nations, but there were tribes. The Hellenic tribe, the Thracians, the Dardanians, the Illyrians, the XYZ, they were all like part of this, I don't want to say kingdom, but it was like a kingdom of tribes. Beautiful. Just beautiful.
Albert Pike was really big with the Native Americans. That's where he kind of came up through. And he was also really big with secret societies and like abolishing certain things like the Whig Party. He gets like a really bad rap even before the Masons. Anyone in the Confederate Army gets a bad rap because they just wanted to create this golden circle of slavery. And they kind of take like Florida all the way down to like Mexico, all the way down to South America, up through the Caribbean. And they just wanted to create a golden circle of slavery. But here we are around the Gulf of Mexico again, around the original World Trade Center, in my opinion. Like, I just think there's something else going on about the South where they were like, nope, you're not going to tax our land. Nope, you're not going to tax our worker. Nope, you're not going to tax our crop. That's really what they were up to. So it's curious to me going back over Albert Pike just with a new lens of the winners writing history. So we always know who they want us to think is a bad guy and who they want us to think is a good guy.
I left the machine at fucking work. I know. I know.
So cold out.
Hey, Layla.
Oh, am I not muted?
I thought so the whole time. Just so I'll tell you, I thought you were coming through your mic or your ambiance. I thought you were coming through your camera, but I didn't want to interrupt you while you were speaking.
Am I not coming through here?
Not at all.
Fucking shit.
But I didn't want to interrupt you while you were on your flow. But So that was a perfect time.
What's going on?
Tell your bro to thank you for helping.
That's my brother.
I know.
Sorry, guys. Audio.
It's okay.
We're back, baby.
Yeah, this is perfect.
Can you
The magic is back.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
But I think Albert Pike is super curious, and I think was he in the Odd Fellows or the Good Fellows? One of those as well.
I don't know.
Well, he was popular for Scottish Rite specifically. A lot of people will find what Albert Pike said and apply it to all Masonry, but he was specifically talking about Scottish Rite for most of his writings.
And it would line up a lot with what Layla's saying, and then a lot of the native stuff too, because the Scottish Rite, they let women be Masons, right? Like a woman could be the highest degree, like one of the, I don't know, am I wrong?
I don't think in America. I don't think so. I think
no,
in America,
I don't think in America, but in the original Scottish Rite, isn't that where they?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. In other countries, the rules for who could be a Mason are wildly different. That's also why American Masonry tends to stand alone outside of a lot of that. They'll recognize because they have different like international Grand Lodges, but usually the Grand Lodges in the States are pretty strict about that stuff. I mean, they didn't even allow black people into what you would call a regular lodge in Florida until maybe a decade ago. Like this is still a very slow moving machine.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
And that symbol that the what are not the Masons, but the ones that wear the fez,
The Shriners.
the Shriners. That symbol is not even a Muslim symbol. It goes back to Illyrian, and their symbol was the star and the fucking moon, and that was stolen. Of course, Islam took over, and Turks and all that, and and the wars, because a lot of Illyrians and Skanderbeg, Queen Teuta, a lot of what's his name? Starts with a B. A lot of these freaking so-called Greek people conquered a lot of what we call, the Middle East. But it's just blowing my mind that what I'm finding is all a lie. Majority of it from what they're teaching us is just like
It's blowing my mind. It's all a lie.
It is.
It's all a lie.
It really is.
That's how I feel about everything. I'm just not, it helps if I'm not invested so much in people, and I just become like, if the idea holds weight, and then I continue to look into the idea if it holds weight, because every idol is bound to fall and maybe get rebuilt and fall again and get rebuilt. And so sometimes I feel like the media does this thing where they put every idea onto a person just so that way they can clobber the person down. So they'll be like, so-and-so, yeah.
Epstein and Puff Daddy and
daddies.
Trump. Trump's a great example of that, where like they just put all of the negative attributes on this one guy that everyone's already starting to hate, and you use that as this universal scapegoat. It's such a convenient archetype. It's not like you're just going to throw something that convenient out.
It's easy. Like, it's like Karen. Okay, Karen.
Karen's a great example. Yeah, you just call someone Karen, it invalidates any kind of ordeal that they're going through, right?
Well, they made a name for themselves, like, at this point.
I wonder if any of the original Karens that started that process were actually named Karen.
Yeah. And their haircut, it's a Karen haircut. It's like a specific, like, bob. It's like this like Karen haircut. It's a specific look, and it's almost like a Southern woman, kind of, but it's not usually Southern, but it's like that Southern look. Then they have that like weird bob that's kind of short, but not almost.
Yeah, the asymmetrical bob cut. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like a sharp bob.
Yeah.
And they're like, Layla, oh, damn it all. I forgot my recycle bags at the damn. I had to get Walmart bags.
Oh,
They do have sayings too. Like, come here, buzzard's ass. You like a buzzard's ass.
I've never heard that one. I have heard growing up in arguably the South, Florida, South Florida. Is that really the South? It's kind of like a weird version of it, but I
Where
heard
I'm at.
you got a alligator mouth and a hummingbird ass. That
The
was one of my favorite
Floribama
ones.
area. That area.
Yeah. It seems like you got a lot of Karens up there.
I do. Can
I
you
always
heat up
knew-
my bolognese? Because it's not hot. It's lukewarm. Can you please do that for me? My bolognese. I'm like, okay.
My baloney.
My bolognese.
Bolognese. I called the show Portals just because I really didn't know what else to call it. And then I was thinking, like, it just made my head do a thing anyway when I thought about it. And because last week I swore that it was Thanksgiving, and some people validated me. I had people write me that they were like, I thought it was Thanksgiving too last week, yada, yada. And then this is a whole nother Mandela effect. Ladies are telling me that this is so silly. They remember a specific time being a candle sale at the mall at some store. And now the candle sale is the first weekend of December. But all these ladies are like, what the fuck? This has never been the first week of this December.
Candle sale is like has a specific weekend in which it happens.
Yeah, and apparently all these ladies know about this, like this candle sale. And like people are checking their receipts of the last few years like, no, I don't know if it's Bed Bath and Beyond or one of those like candle stores. Like it has a candle or like Candles Plus. I don't know the candle names. But one of those candle stores has a mall, but everybody is like, no, this is weird. Like something is off with what they're doing with the time.
This is a perfect topic or perfect label for the stream because honestly, I have seen a weird algorithm of people talking about jumping portals like we've talked about many times during like an insane situation being in a car. I've seen 6 of them on TikTok alone from different people saying they jumped timelines and looped through a portal. Like driving on the highway, looking down on their phone, and all of a sudden they're like, where the fuck am I? Like, how am I here? Even with kids in the car, and their kids are like, what just happened? And I'm like, is something going on with time that we're not really aware of, and all this distraction that they knew what was coming? Something's off because time even feels off to me. Like on a daily basis, it feels off. One day it feels like it's rushing by. The next day I feel like it's taking like 2 days to be a day. So I don't know. There's something to it. Just can't put my finger on it. And I don't want to say CERN because we give them too much credit for their bullshit.
You're not concerned.
No.
What are you doing, Abbie?
I feel like we should normalize time dilation.
Well, here's the thing. For me, it's like it's insinuation. It's not even predictive programming at this point. It's like insinuation. They'll insinuate an idea. Hey, revelations. We're all going to fucking die. And enough people believe it, it'll happen. It's not even predictive programming. They want to insinuate an idea. And that's it. Because they can't predict shit. They wish they could, but they can't.
Insinuate this.
Yeah, you're
insinuation
on
notice.
Absolutely.
What's new this week with you, Abs?
Not much.
Abbie and I did the Medici episode.
I know, I missed it, and I heard it was great.
It was good. I had a lot of people reach out to me about it and say that they have to watch it more than once, but they're glad it's there because they've always wondered and like heard us talk about it. So it's nice to have a reference point to go back to. But it also opened up like so many other questions just on the levels. Like one man's deck of cards is another man's buildings. One man's buildings is another man's football team. One man's football teams is another. And it's just like, oh my gosh, what are they doing with these? You know, I was thinking of people on a field and how they move and how they're like watching, like throwing back to the idea of like a queen sitting at the middle of a tennis game and watching the ball go back and forth, this fluorescent green, and like she sees into the portal a little bit. Like playing the Medici kind of opens up this idea that, you know, you can almost, you're seeing into this portal that's a smaller game that can be sped up and slowed down and done all this stuff with. And it kind of made me think, like, are all games that for the elite? Can they like put numbers on soccer players and watch that kind of same thing go down? And is it all like sacred surfaces? Like, you know, how it's,
See what
oh,
it
this,
does your head?
yeah, like this is astroturf and this
That's what it
is,
does
you
your head.
know, like grass. And so then you don't have as much conductivity if you're not playing on the ground. But can you take all the energy if it's not grounded out? Like, do you get to ground it out? And so I don't know. I was thinking
Well,
about this.
there's actually some really crazy, like, occult references when you compare baseball. Baseball comes up a lot too, like the Masons sport. But because baseball allows for some of that variation for magical practices, depending on the diamond, it's a different size in every different city. The turf itself is sometimes made out of different materials. There's so much variation in that you kind of are forced to constantly be adapting. If you compare that to, say, like a football field where everything is incredibly regulated, it's always the exact same length. Everything is to like the exact same types of measurements. Sometimes even depending on the astroturf and the real turf, but all of that has these very specific laws and bylaws everything has to adhere to, so it's as standard as possible. And baseball is the opposite of all that.
Diamonds. Yeah, I've heard like it's such a Masonic game, baseball. And then like,
Then they have ground balls.
well, it was making me like the wood of the bat and the metals of certain different bats. And then golf has the like woods and irons. And it's this cutout piece of green that I was wondering if certain magicians would use golf as a way similar to tarot cards or to like calling on winds and having certain numbers and clubs named and carrying it around in this leather bound bag. Like, it just seems like
all ritualistic.
Yeah, like I'm just because we have this tarot deck and everybody puts all this like mysticism in a tarot deck when the deck of cards was always the same thing. And Thomas goes into all these different games of chance in a casino that were always something different, that there must have been games, like we go back to tribal things throughout time, that they were playing for the gods. So what is happening now? Like, is it all just a bread and circus for us, or is there an actual more than just the energy of the loosh of us providing money because we're putting a jersey on or watching it and oohing and eyeing? Is there something more mystical to them? And is that a difference of like playing a sport, watching a sport, owning a team? I don't know.
Well, Michael Sarion has a really cool thing too, where he talks about military battles are the ultimate sport for the elites, and that these are the new versions of sacrifice. And this is why a general, you can tell their rank depending on how many stars are on their shoulders. So if in war, if a 4-star general gets taken out, that is the highest sacrifice that you can make to the star gods. So you're letting the star gods know, like, hey, here's one of ours that are worth 4 times of, a star power. And that's why as you go all the way down in the different ranks, they each have these different offerings that they're kind of signaling in that sympathetic magic.
I don't know. I liked it, Abbie.
Strange.
If you guys haven't checked it out, it's interesting. Check out that episode. And I did download it so you can upload it on all your channels. So make sure that you follow Abbie. What were you going to say, Layla?
Oh, it just fucking escaped my brain. My brain is so like, it needs work.
Hey, brain.
I need to like clear it.
You're on notice, brain.
You're on notice,
God.
brain.
It's here 1 second and gone the next. Like a gunshot. Pop. Let me shut up.
Did Abbie leave, or she burnt up? Oh, there she is.
Into the fire.
Into the flame. Into the portal.
What was I going to say?
It is Sagittarius season.
Oh, who was it that posted a very interesting, I guess, explanation about the original Sagittarius symbol of it being a man and half dragon and him with an arrow pointing back at his other body, like
I
cat
think that was
dog.
Mario from
Yeah.
Sacred Symbolism.
Yes, that was him. It was like almost like cat dog. Think about the show Cat Dog. So it's a human, and it's like a lizard body that turns into a fucking dragon, and he turns back with his arrow trying to shoot at the dragon, and it's not an actual centaur, but the dragon symbology, of course, that they want to hide. Dragons are real. Don't believe in them.
Cat
Yeah.
dog.
Cat dog.
Dog.
Alone in the world, a little cat dog.
The tip of the arrow, the very tip of the arrow, the star is the Nash star. So I have an affinity for the Sagittarius tip of the arrow. And I thought the tip of the arrow was actually in the Scorpion's heart. Maybe I'm wrong.
Wait, what? Repeat that?
I thought the tip of the arrow of Sagittarius was in Scorpius's heart.
Oh,
But maybe it's the heart of the dragon.
I never heard that one before. The tip of
Maybe
the
it's the
arrow.
heart of Dracos. Maybe it's the Ophiuchus.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Maybe a fucus, the serpent bearer.
That's the 13th zodiac, right?
Yeah, is that it's right? Well, because it's right between Scorpio and Sagittarius.
Yeah,
actually,
you're right. In astrology, the tip of the arrow of Sagittarius pointing at Scorpio signifies a symbolic tension between the two zodiac signs, representing Sagittarius' tendency to be direct is somewhat blunt with Scorpio's secret nature, something like that.
And look, I will just say too, it's so Abbie and me. And I didn't even think about it. And this isn't what I purposely put on as my background. And I have this flooding waters on her flamey fire. And it is our relationship in a lot of ways. So I am excited that it's Sagittarius season. Quell some of that floody
I like
water.
Sagittarius people.
I love Sagittarius.
Mhm.
Sag are one of my favorite signs.
They're like really, I would say go-getters. There's something about their energy that I really like. It's just like always positive. The ones that I've been around.
Say Sagittarius they fight with flame. And it's different than like an Aries. An Aries is head on. They like what you see right at you, like fire in your face. A Sagittarius is like letting arrows go that are all lit on fire and they're all behind your back. And so you think you're so schlick. You're talking to their little baby fire and then you turn around and you're engulfed. You have no idea. All these arrows have just been engulfing the whole entire background. So while you're sitting there talking shit because you're like, oh, this isn't like an Aries fire. It's not head on. And I also feel like Sagittarius have blue flame where it is the coldest when it's not there anymore. That's what it's like, oof.
and that's the truth.
Is like you don't realize how warm a Sagittarius is until they aren't warm anymore and their fire's like
It's just off. Yeah, that's what it is.
Well, this guy is saying Sagittarius named after the Sumerian god Palbasag, and I'm looking at the picture. I'm like, holy fucking shit. Palbasag, yeah.
Palbasag, okay.
What an interesting character, if that's true.
I don't know if this matters at all, but a couple of the most nefarious Sagittarius were Stalin, Pol Pot, Ted Bundy, Jeffrey Dahmer, Nero, and Che Guevara, all Sagittarius. Which I guess they're all go-getters.
How do you spell that word, Layla?
Somebody put it in the chat. Pabilsag.
Palbasag. Oh, it's really just okay. You don't even want to what I thought Layla said.
This sounds like one of those words that Abbie's going to be asked to add to the filter. What the hell is a pulpasag? Oh my
god! Somebody wrote in the chat, "Saggy hairy ass." That's what she heard when she heard Sagittarius.
It did not pull really up anything except like Skeletor with a scorpion on his back.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Scorpion, so right there.
Palbasag. I don't know. I don't know. I can't even do that research for you guys right now. And I tried a little bit. Do you think different portals are open during different horoscopes or different planets, or, like maybe I kind of look at it like a key hole more than just like a clock. I look at it like a combination lock. And there's something about the stars mixed with the planets, mixed with us, that all of the carabiners and all of the rolling things, they all have to slide into the right spot for, I don't know if it's a portal for other realms. I don't know if it's for Mashiach. I don't know if it's for aliens, but it seems like something being right, that maybe it happens whatever amount of thousands of years or whatever amount of 200 years or whatever amount of thing, where it's almost like that light from what's that, Men in Black. See, I almost didn't remember it.
Oh yeah.
The Tommy Lee Jones.
Well, that's the
out there.
nature of it.
Yeah, but there's something about it that it doesn't seem like it's more of a combination lock than a clock. And I think we're looking
I
at it
don't think it's a
different.
clock. Yeah.
Well, have you seen his minister's map? I sent you a link, and this man, I guess, maps the world through the Bible. Okay, and apparently he has this map, and it'll show the different portals that each continent faces, like the locust, the portal of being blessed, and the only portal that has, or the only nation that has that portal is the United States. They have a health portal. They have weather portals. They have all different types of portals where these things happen in this realm that are let out. Where are these portals? I don't know, but it's a brief video. If you guys want to see it, it's on my page, but I sent it to Chaney if she wants to pull it up. But it's very fascinating. And it's
Where
biblical.
did you send it to me on?
On let me see, Chaney. Let me see.
You could just put it in
Chaney, the Vampire Slayer.
on,
It's on there. Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what do you think about like Stargates? Because allegedly there's like 7 or 12 or something like that.
Yeah, I believe that. Like with ley lines and the star, I guess, star forts. And I feel like they have a big part of these people experiencing weird phenomena. My mom experienced one.
Do you have this posted on your page right now?
Yeah.
Oh, well, we'll just go there.
Oh yeah. I'll tell you which one.
I'm like, I don't want to pull up my messages on here. This seems
I'll tell you which
so
one it is.
weird.
It's
I can
the
send it to myself, then it comes back.
5th one down, the 3rd row. It's like
Instagram. I'm like, what app am I trying to go into right now? Instacart.
it's the one next to Donald Trump. I can't pull it up. It's my fucking screen.
Oh my gosh, Instagram.
But it's the 5th one down, 3rd row to the right. Next to Daddy Trump.
Make me log in. This is
sorry, guys. It's very fascinating. You guys need to see this. I was like, wow, this is interesting. There's 2 parts. Oh, actually, that's the 2nd part. You have to go to the 6th row's first one.
How long is it?
Like a minute.
Okay.
Not even. I think it's like 58 seconds.
On,
but it's worth a watch.
Baby is on.
You'll see in a second. It's very interesting.
Layla? Oh, there she is.
So it's the 6th row down, first one.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I see it.
Yeah.
You guys, this is technology. This is
and these are just my algorithms. Nothing crazy.
Don't judge her on her
right
algorithms. Let me make sure I undo this. So
all those preachers, teachers, pastors, prophets, prophetesses, evangelists, anybody who think that they know the Bible, I just want to tell you that your map is upside down and you will never know true Bible prophecy until you turn your map this way. And the reason why is because you think that J-Town is over here in the Middle East when it is right here in the north. Africa is in the north when you turn your map upside down. And how do we know? Because through these portals right here, we have locusts coming to the Horn of Africa. We have locusts coming through the South America area. the locust swarms don't happen in America like that, and they don't happen over here in Russia like that. According to the book of Enoch, 76th chapter, these things come out of all of these portals. This is the west, this is the south, this is the east, and this is the north. Yes, health comes out of the portal. And this is health down here. Look at this here. Where's that health? Right there. Look at that health coming out of the portal. Look here, over here, where America at. Blessings. This is the blessing icon. Where's that at?
God bless America.
Blessing coming out of the portal where America is, and there are no other. Everybody's blessed, but why is this icon only over here by the United States? It's like it's saying, God bless America. I'm not going to get on that, though. And notice where all of the hurricanes start.
There's a part 2 on the next
Hello
video.
out there. This video is for all those preachers, teachers, pastors, prophets, prophetesses, evangelists.
Okay, let me find it.
It's pretty interesting.
Okay, hold on. I have never
Right
even
there,
seen
up
that
there.
before.
Yep.
What is that? His map he made?
No, you'll show the book where it comes from.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Start in the warm waters, because these waters from here up are cold waters, and from here down are warmer waters. All right, but anyway, this is what comes through the portal, and if you want to learn more about your map being turned the wrong way, you would need this book. And this book I show you, this is the book called Your Map is Upside Down. And in this book I show you how the correct orientation of the map will keep you from being fooled, because
My favorite. No, but my favorite part of it is like, and the name of the book is Your map is upside
down.
Okay, you
So
know
in
what's
your
interesting
face.
about that is that when you're doing dream cartography, like you're mapping your dreams, right? So every dream that you have, instead, like the idea is every dream you have, you don't really give a shit about the content of the dream, but where the fucking dream is, and then you map it, you draw it on a map, and as you do it, you start to connect places. Like at first it'll just be random and you just have to kind of draw it and just put it wherever on your map. And then all of a sudden you start to realize how they're connected. And you can, as you do it, north is south and east is west. Like it's all upside down. It's all backwards.
I mean, they tell us that all the time. Up, as above, so below, or up is down, and down is up, and everything's inverted. So you always have to think mirror, because it's like a
Well, and if you think
mirrored
of the
realm.
dream world as the real world, then that would be the correct map.
Hmm.
Well, this is like memory palaces too. That the way that they work is by assigning certain thought patterns or memories to different like geographic locations, because it's leveraging our sort of like evolutionary mind and how it developed. Of like, if you were running away from something and you noticed a food source or a water source or a den of where like wolves would come out and kill you, these were important things to store long term in your memory, because it would literally result in your survival or your death. So
Right.
now that we like don't really need that as much, we don't have the food sources where you might remember the grocery store is, but it's totally different type of skill. So now you can start applying that to these memory palaces of memory. But I guess you're describing in the dream world by figuring out like where your mind is in a geographic like area, even one that doesn't exist, then that would also give you a much bigger insight, the same way that having a memory palace would.
But it's trippy though, because this is a practical application of it. Once you start doing it and you do it long enough, like, okay, so this is what I discovered, because every dream that I have is based around my hometown that I grew up in. So every dream that I have, even if I'm in like Portugal, I will go to a house in the neighborhood or like maybe in a surrounding town, but I can connect it all on my map, and that house is a portal to Portugal. It's fucking weird. Like, so like all of a sudden I'm in that house, but that house is like okay, but this is Portugal now. So but I can put it on my map still, even though it's on the other side of the world.
You know what's interesting about that map, though? Going back to our people always believed we were the center of it all. Like when you go back to that map and you see where we are located, that region, it is pretty much the center of it all. So I'm like, is there some merit to this theory? Like everything's inverted, left, right, up, down, east, west, south, north. Like we don't know. All we know is what we're being shown. Have we seen it personally? Have we traveled? And when we travel, sometimes the map on the screen doesn't match what's below us sometimes.
The agreed upon laws that all the military, even if they shoot each other's children, agree upon, like the Maritime, the Antarctica, the North Pole shit, that's the stuff that actually should scare us the most.
Mm.
Like that's the stuff where it's like, what kind of control do you guys have?
Right, and who's going to war over somebody was trying to make claims of Antarctica? That would be the most wild world war to occur, where like what population in any country on the planet would be, would actually be like, oh yeah, we should totally be sending citizens to die over fighting over Antarctica or over the North Pole or something.
If it was plentiful, untouched land, if it was something that hadn't been raped and everything was a lie, because they look at even the way it looks on all the world maps and everything, it's like white out. It's just like if anyone found out that it was this untouched land, I think they want us, like we all know, like 15-minute cities and smaller places and smaller and tighter little groups. They don't want us out there. So even if flat earth isn't real at all and there's no merit, Admiral Byrd said that it was plentiful and there was more resources and green rolling fields. So even if it's that, an unowned land where you could go be sovereign, that didn't have buildings and didn't have like law yet, it was the Wild West, or it was the unknown. It was America, whatever fairy tale we believe in as our history. What if there's something really right there, but we're not, if we knew it was there, it would be a new pilgrimage. The same
probably
won't tell us what to do.
Didn't they recently discover like thousands of islands like near Asia recently, like last year?
Yeah, like near Japan or something.
Like, come on. And we've had satellites for how long, and now they discovered them? Like something's off. Like it's not meshing, man. Really is not.
And just look at the everyday stuff they show us, and then look at the everyday stuff that they delete from us.
Mhm.
So it's just like, I don't know.
Mind control.
This year, when you say look at the things they delete from us, this year was a particular doozy because quote unquote hackers took down the Internet Archive, and conveniently this was right during one of the most political events in history, and it never fully came back, and I don't think it's ever really going to come back to the same fidelity that it used to be.
They
even
burned the
fucked with
Library of
Wayback-
Alexandria.
Yeah, and they even fucked with the Wayback Machine. Like you can't even go way back anymore. Like we've talked about it on our show before.
No,
I
that's
guess
what the Wayback Machine pulled on those Internet archives.
Mhm.
All the Internet archives that were underneath. That's why it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And that's
It's
been
just-
around for like at least 2 decades, I think.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All the stuff you could find, all the old like Wikipedia articles before everybody changed them and they were all edited. You could find like the original shit of the
And
things.
all the Ingersoll Lockwood website shit, like for the past 6 years, you could go on the Deagle website where they showed the freaking population prediction for 2025 and for all the countries. I don't know if you guys remember that whole conspiracy with Deagle and the whole population prediction forecast. No, there was a whole page in 2020. Well, before 2020, and this man owned it, and he had a population forecast for the entire world. And this is a military website. It shows what each country has: artillery, guns, ammunition, what kind of machinery, XYZ, and it shows the population. It shows how much their GBT is, how much the average person makes, all that information. And they had a prediction section for what the population was going to look like, and it showed most of the countries dropping in population. Like for some mysterious reason, it showed like a huge population drop in 2025. 2025. And then when 2021 hit after COVID, this man was mysteriously killed and his website was taken over, and they took that whole forecast down and they just updated it and changed everything about it. So that forecast disappeared. But if you use the Wayback Machine, you could actually go on there and actually see what it was actually like. I don't know if you could do that anymore. Jibbity jabbity juice. Bippity boppity boo. The magic potion. It's making everybody gay. Making everybody gay.
Dude, I don't even want to bring up, like, I don't even want to attach words, but the bell curve. The bell curve and the 3-year mark are like horrifying. I won't even attach anything else, but it's horrifying
I want to
stuff.
hear
Do your
more.
own research.
Well, babies are being
We can't
born
talk about it on
without-
YouTube.
God damn it.
Babies are being born
bell
without
curve?
antibodies. just
The
so you
bell
guys
curve
know.
of jibbity jabbity juice takers and
Oh, okay.
all of the peer-reviewed studies. And
Does
it's
anyone feel
horrifying.
stupid after COVID? Because this long COVID got me so fucking stupid. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. Yeah. What do you fucking think it was? And they still
This is
have
my
no
favorite
idea.
one. How many people online are trying to be all like truther about it? And they're like, how many times have you guys had COVID? And I always write, how would I fucking know?
Right.
I didn't. I had the flu, and that's what
Fucking
you
cold.
had. You fucking
No, I
idiot.
just never stuck anything up my nose one time. How would I fucking know? How would I fucking know?
How did you know not to shove that DARPA juice in your nose? How did you know, Chaney? How'd you know?
My Holy Spirit, my little
you go.
mustard seed.
Bad feeling about it.
Also, that's my
Yeah.
default state of being, is to not want to do what they wanted me to do. And if you pair that on top of how forceful it was, first you saw the carrot and then you saw the stick, and all of that would just make, those are all the red flags that I've ever seen. I saw them all being thrown up at once.
Do you want a burger with your fries? Get a. Let me not
See,
say.
and I don't know. That all happened to me during the H1N1 of it all. Like, that's when I started doing fucking research, and I was like, what the fuck is going on here? And these people are lining up for the shit. And then the other one that really got me is that around the same time, that's when, like, some of my friends were pregnant and stuff, and they were making their family members get, like, a booster for, what is it? Like, whooping cough? And they're like, oh, if we don't do this, like, if you don't do this, you can't be around your grandchildren. Like,
This is the one
MMR.
topic
It was a MMR one. You're like, oh my God, seriously? Like,
that boils my
Tightrope
blood.
walking right now. Tightrope walking.
I know. I'll stop.
It boils
Just
my
exact
blood.
words.
I'm stopping.
Abby
It's like at
will
this
have
point-
a medical misinformation space later on X or Rumble.
Oh, I will. I have
Yeah.
one on Instagram. I'll fucking yell
Fuck
my
that
brains
bullshit
out.
is all I gotta say.
I know. You're 100%. Everybody knows it. I think that is the number one thing people should be using all the peer-reviewed studies or even research papers from other countries. They should be using ChatGPT and Grok to translate that shit.
You know what we need to do, Chaney? We need
What?
to shame parents as much as they're shaming these parents for trans, gay, library shit. We need to shame these parents as much as the trans agenda for giving their child this. How about you wait till your child is an adult to insert something that you have no idea what's inside of it? Why don't you wait till they're an adult to make that informed decision?
Because you're given the fear of it all. Like, how dare you freaking
Oh,
not
I
do
know.
that? You're gonna kill him.
Oh, I know, but we should, transmute that and change the narrative and say, y'all are just like these trans people. These trans parents that are pushing this agenda. Y'all are the same exact motherfucking thing. No different. Because that's
we
what's
could
causing the
extend that
problem.
to giving your kid an iPad too.
That's what's causing the problem. Kids don't know if they're a fucking cat or a dog. And I'm just like,
I don't know. I feel like there's a whole bunch of stuff that's just like a symptom of the problem of every person just being like, oh, my government knows better than me. My government knows better than me. My news is there to inform me. They care about me.
my government loves me.
Like my media, they all love me.
Never.
They would only tell me the truth. They have to tell me the truth. This is the news. That's the
news.
part.
Or even
news.
the extension of that too would be, oh, there can't be anything bad going on, otherwise the news would have told me, or this, or
Right.
and that's such a antiquated concept too. But I mean, I guess boomers and older still live by that, but we're all part of a new generation. I mean, I'm even like starting to become an old fogey, but even my generation is used to not waiting around for the news. You go to Twitter, you go to like any kind of the social media. I mean, I almost burns me to say like Reddit, but back before Reddit was completely taken over as sort of like the owned sort of opposition, right? Even that was a place to go and see the day-to-day updates, or even like an hourly update on some major thing that was going on. A lot of the pew pew events that would happen, those ones would have these live threads that you wouldn't even see the nightly news talk about it for 3 or 4 days, because they're used to their own cycle, they're used to their own version. And some of the excuses too are like, well, we have to fact check things. Like, I don't know if this is the same media that I grew up with. You guys never cared about fact checking anything, so there's something else. And I think they're just part of this old guard of how to regurgitate news, and they have to wait for those memos to come in from Sinclair or whatever that tells them what they think and tells them what the real interpretation is.
I think House of Cards, I had some fantasy when I was young that reporters were
Do
like
tell.
putting themselves ooh, do tell.
Ooh, wow.
Like putting themselves in danger and like crawling on their bellies to get the story.
Didn't it seem so like romanticized, the whole
Yeah, and
journalism, like
then
field
it's
journalism? Wow,
somewhere
that
with
sounds
the
like such an
Inquirer of it
awesome
all.
job.
And like living in Los Angeles and everything, I was like, and having a certain celebrity friends, I didn't realize like, oh, this is all publicity. Like you have a good publicist, like selling a story, and so celebrities want to keep their name. Like if you see that, oh, Taylor Swift and Travis, oh, they want to sell merch. They're selling concert tickets. They're selling a story. Everybody has a reality show, so they just build it and feed it. But I'm like, oh my gosh, this has been going on forever. Like people are under the idea of like, well, Peter Jennings. When I got the news, it was, and then other people are like, well, Walter Cronkite. You don't even know. And it's like, no, all of them are CIA.
Right. The same guy that told everyone that JFK had been shot, Walter Cronkite, was also doing the voice of the Bohemian Grove, like voice in the sky for decades. So talking about just this old guard, this old way of processing information.
Yeah, my Cherie, I thought there are links in all the write-ups. I thought their links were on there, but I will add the full link. I know what you're talking about now. My head changed it. So you guys know what I stopped the whole show for.
Going back to the whole dream mapping of it though, Thomas, like the whole purpose of it is that when you map your dreams and you do it like enough and you start connecting them, supposedly you have explosive dream recall and you'll remember every dream you've ever had.
I don't know if I can handle that.
That's what they say. They say like it actually is like a super big high, and then you fucking like have a big come down from it because it's like, oh shit, like you literally remember every one of your dreams.
I love the high when you wake up from a dream and you're like fucking like ready to go.
Could you imagine just like all of a sudden though remembering
paralysis.
every one of your? Could you remember having every dream you've ever had though all at once, like all of a sudden?
Like a key.
Yeah,
Like a portal.
So that's why dream hackers map.
A lot of people are saying that these dream experiences of sleep paralysis, instead of them thinking of it as like a demon in the room, they're actually believing that they're being abducted by aliens and they're being worked on. Like to the point, like I've seen these beings. They're like translucent, alien looking, skinny bodies, weird shaped head. I couldn't see their face, just like a translucent bubble. It looked like the rainbow-like bubble. Just think of it, a bubble shaped like an alien, okay? And it was on top of me doing whatever it was doing, poking me, I don't know why it was poking me, but it was poking me in the spot where I've had that liver issue or whatever that issue was, in that same area. Either they were telling me something or they worked on me, or I don't fucking know. I still can't put it together, but many people are saying that they're being abducted instead of experiencing it as a sleep paralysis event.
That's kind of along the lines of the Voyager stuff and the Ascension glossary, that there are other entities that are upgrading us, but then there's also
Higher self, you
yeah,
said? You
but
think?
then what I experienced, because I've had my own theory about sleep paralysis, because I'd experienced it a couple times, but I didn't have the sleep paralysis demon, and I didn't have like my breathing stop. But it happened to me just recently, but I literally went out of body. So I like, as it was happening, I felt these blue hands. I saw the blue hands, they went around my throat and they were starting to choke me out. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I was like, okay, this is happening. But my theory is that the whole point of lucid dreaming is to find and perfect your energy body. So your energy body's not perfect. Like it's probably pretty fucked up if you haven't done a lot of your shadow work, because that's what it is. It's energy, right? So I was thinking, what if it looks like a demon to a lot of these people, because it's scary looking. They haven't done
Mhm.
their fucking shadow work. So it sat there, like, I didn't open my eyes because I was afraid that, like, I wanted to just settle into it and just see if I could calm myself down and just see what
Mhm.
happened. And so it was choking me, and then all of a sudden I was like, it's okay, it's okay. Like, can you breathe? And I made sure I could breathe. My body was completely stiff, so I felt it. Like, I felt the paralysis, I felt the stiffness, and I could feel it pressing on my throat. But I realized I could breathe, and then all of a sudden I was out of my body in my living room.
Hmm.
It was freaking wild.
I've been having them every month for the past year. Like every fucking month, once a month. Bop, 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 bop. I'm just like, this is fucking weird. I think next time I'm just gonna let it happen and just
Do
see
it.
what happens. Yeah.
That's what you gotta do. You
Instead of
just gotta
fighting it.
settle into it. Yeah. So, but like, just sit there and calm yourself down. Like, can I breathe? Yes, I can breathe. And then just freaking just settle into it.
Last time I want to fucking tackle the thing. I was like, again, motherfucker, not today.
What is the difference, like, between alien and demon?
How religious you are, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Period.
Probably,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because
So it's like,
aliens to me always
Alien just means
seemed like
foreign,
like
right?
the secular version of the same things that are in the Bible. It's just for people that don't prescribe to whatever the Bible says. Now there's this other option. It's the same way that I feel about the A word substance that comes from blood. Is that's just a secular version of talking about the exact same topic that comes up when you talk about like blood libel or vampirism or like all the supernatural stuff. It's for all the people that are like, oh, I'm far too enlightened to believe in any supernatural nonsense. But if you throw me an alien, like, oh, well, that's not supernatural, that's extraterrestrial.
Dude, what if adrenaline is the key to like making these things real? Like the adrenaline and your thought of that thing happening makes it real, that power of the adrenaline.
Well, this is a move that I bring this movie up every time this particular subject that I won't even say the word of comes up. But there's a movie by
I'll have a thing for that next week.
there's a movie that stars Vincent Price called The Tingler, and I think that this is
Love
one of
Vincent
the
Price.
original. Have you ever seen The Tingler? It's like a really
No.
old black and white movie, I think, but
I've
it's
seen quite a
about
few of his old ones, but
using altered states of consciousness in order to manifest these creatures in the movie. That's what the Tingler is, and in the movie
Dude.
it looks like a huge lobster cockroach thing, and that it starts forming on somebody's spinal cord, on their spinal column, and then once you can induce enough fear, it actually grows into a huge creature that they can then extract out of the body and do who knows what with. The movie kind of ends there. That's the whole premise of that movie, though.
This is blowing my mind because this is how demons are attached. Not necessarily someone like sending you a demon. You can conjure your own demon and it'll attach to your back Okay, and there's a way supposedly to get rid of it is like by going on a corner and like rubbing your back on a corner so it could attach itself back into the shadow of the corner. But that's how they
I've
literally
never
attach.
heard that. That's wild.
Oh
Yeah, and
no,
when you have the
Layla,
fear of that idea in your head, like, oh my God, like possession is real. What if I'm like possessed? And you start thinking about these things and your adrenaline starts rushing. These weird anomalies starts happening to these people. And people can't figure out why sometimes, but it's starting to fucking make sense. I think
Layla sent me that, and what it said, actually, the part that I remember is that, like, you know, when you're like, just accept instead of fucking reading contracts and all that shit, or like terms and conditions and all that. Sometimes you're agreeing to shit you don't know what you're agreeing to because you're just like, I ain't fucking reading all that.
Yeah.
And so these things will attach to you. So the idea is that you measure yourself and then go and like scratch your back like against a corner or whatever, and then you measure yourself again, and like seriously, she posted that, or she sent it to me, and then I freaking did it, and I was like it was like a huge significant difference in my height after I
Yeah.
did that.
Now the reason for that is when you have an attachment to you, sometimes you feel, you're tall, but you'll feel small and you feel short, like something's just weighing you down. And once you do that, you measure yourself before you scratch your back on the corner of the wall, where it meets, and you measure yourself, and then you rub your back, and then you measure yourself again. You'll see like an inch difference. I don't know why, how, what. You could even like try and make yourself tall and do it, but you'll see a difference. I can't explain it. Someone taught it to me.
Since we're going to talk about this, and I just portals and levitation. Thomas, have you seen the movie The Gate?
Oh, one of my favorite movies growing up.
What's it kind of about, real quick? Like a elevator speech for the girls, and I'll find a
These
picture of it.
kids, I get it confused with two other ones, but I think they find like a big hole in the yard or something, right? These two kids, and they're hanging out, and the hole becomes a portal to kind of hell, or these demonic entities to come up into the world. And this movie also, I think, has one of the first references that I remember showing how cats can like steal children's breath or something.
No, that's Cat's Eye.
Cat's Eye, yeah.
Oh, you're totally right. You're totally right.
Because that's Drew Barrymore.
Yeah.
But The Gate has the scene where
creepy.
there's the hole in the yard, and the parents are either out of town or leave for the night to go out to eat. But I feel like they might be out of town.
And isn't there like a party and stuff too?
There's a party, and like an older girl comes over, and she brings a Ouija board, and then they're all like, "Oh, let's light as a feather," or maybe not Ouija board. We'll light as a feather, stiff as a board, with the little brother, and then he fucking floats all around the room, and it panics everyone in the room. And then there's like the energy of the gate, but it just seems like those portals too, like as above so below. Could there be portals above us? Like if there is angels, or like rapture, or some kind of thing like happening above us, is there also the idea of something below us, like Magog?
Yeah, there's definitely
The
levels to this
Magog
shit.
looks like those little demons by that kid, or one
There's
of the
levels.
scariest, simplest CGIs, but it just creeps me fucking out even still. The movie Ghost. Every time when somebody dies, and how the dead see the people that are taken to hell, and those little black blobs come out, and they're like, and they grab the person's soul, and they like leave into, it's almost like the black monster on.
There's levels to
Lost.
this. And why they say that, for some reason, video games tied to this as well, and they call each board a level.
And levels the same way forward and backward, and the same in the mirror. It's
Fucking
like
wild.
it's almost a word written like a level, and it has a V in the center with two E's, so you
Yeah.
can actually write it like tenant, but you can just, it's like a very, very, like Abba is a very
Palindrome,
powerful
is that what that's
magical
called?
word.
Oh yeah, the palindromes.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are like Krallian. If you can say it backward and it means the same way forward, like, or you can look at it upside down and it carries a similar value, that's heavy magic. They like that
Well-
with symbols and sigils.
That's like Angels and Demons by Dan Brown. Like he does the Illuminati symbol where it is that way, where it's flipped and it still says Illuminati, and then Earth, Air, Fire, Water, and it's that way from every angle. What about the portal to hell in Buffy the Vampire Slayer? Like Sunnydale was a portal to hell, Hell's Mouth or something.
And what's her name? Sabrina the Teenage Witch, the new version.
Yeah.
Portal to Hell. They
Yep.
found a cave, that portal.
That show's
I
so
haven't
good.
seen that one.
It's
I
so
mean,
good. You should watch
Isn't this
it.
where Admiral Byrd essentially found too? It could have just been a portal to hell. Think about all the real estate.
Is it hell? Or is just something that we don't understand and we're just putting a word to it?
A level.
They don't want us to go there. Oh, symbolism is their downfall, but is it really? Or do they not want us to know what the fuck the symbolism is? It's like, I'm trying to play devil's advocate here, sorry. Like, is it really hell? I don't know. I don't know. I think they just label
Well,
things
in a
so we
way,
don't
like the
really
same
unknown.
way, I think
go.
it's curious that Tartaria would also be Tartarius, which would be the lowest, like a very low hell if it were a level system. That's where the gods went to hell. And so then you also have Helen would be hell. That would be like the next thing. So Hellenistic after Tartarus, like you almost have these gods created out of these regions. So what
Well,
came first? The
that's the
region or the
weird thing.
god?
But then we're going into time there too, so that's fucking weird.
But you also, if I didn't want you to
Times
go to a
11.
place on the world, I would call it hell. So if I didn't want you to leave my kingdom because I needed all the serfs to breed, so because I'd lose power the same way we talk about the lowercase gods, the kings lose the power, the politicians lose the power. So if you can just go wherever you want to go and there's more land and resources out there and you really don't need me, I want you to think it's fucking Tartarus over there, you guys. You don't even understand how bad it is. And so there's almost like this propaganda level that it's hell. It's Helena. Like, oh, Abbie, she disappeared. She's so magic. Oh, and she's back.
Fell into the gate.
Yeah, she fell into the portal. Open up your portal.
Portal.
Your porthole.
Your portal. Or port, I think like Portland. How there's a Portland on both sides. Portal, water portals.
If you told me that Portland was a portal to hell, I might actually believe that.
Me too, a little bit.
Good. Yeah. Good point.
Why would they name it Helena? Helena. I'm trying to figure her out. Hell. What's the fucking etymology of hell?
Oh hell.
Well, that's the weird thing about hell, though, is hell's
Hell's
not
about
even
to be
mentioned in the
unnoticed.
Bible. Hell's not in the Bible. So it has to be named after Hela, or right? Hela was the god.
To cover, to
goddess?
conceal.
Helen.
To
Hell.
see? You see?
Secrets.
To cover or conceal.
So it's a hole, porthole. It's a porthole.
They're hiding
esoteric.
something from us. They keep us looking up. Maybe there's something below.
This is
I don't know.
exactly what got me kicked out of Sunday school, was asking too many questions about hell. Like the week that
You're
they were
fixated on
teaching us
hell.
about hell, I was just absolutely fascinated by all of the claims that they were making. And I asked too many questions, and I asked my mom not to bring me back.
Why?
I was asking things like,
That they couldn't
I think the
answer.
last one that really got me in trouble, it was a lot of questions, but the final straw on the camel's back is I said something like, if you're telling me that you go to this dark place and you burn forever and ever and ever for eternity, wouldn't you get used to it after like a month or two? Like, wouldn't you just get used to the feeling? And that after that, you
That'd be
just
your
be
new normal.
bored. And then a couple of the other kids in the class were kind of like, yeah, that's a good point. And then it was like, don't ever come back. Don't bring your kid back here.
Thomas
See,
is
why
like
do that?
Sheldon
I
Cooper at church.
I got in trouble in Sunday school because I said, so if like good people, like the better the person you get in heaven, and it's like guaranteed, if you're already gonna go to hell, should you just get to getting like bad? Like, because you don't want to be like one of the low level hellions. You want to be like so.
You want the VIP room.
Yeah, you want to be able to like, you know.
Lean into this shit, man. Why just freaking get in on with a toe over the line?
That seems
Because
like the
Jesus
worst.
touches the worst of people, not the
Yeah.
ones who are already saved. He's there to save the ones who are on a bad path.
Well, yeah,
Right?
he ate with freaking tax collectors and thieves and murderers. He wasn't above that.
Yeah. I'm hated by the Muslim community, and that's fine. Fuck the hadiths. You Muslims are fake and gay. Like, literally. They hate women so much. The
I've been
hadiths.
listening to The Alchemist again, like for my like 500th time, and now that I'm listening to it with the knowing a little bit more about the hadiths and stuff, I'm like, all the Muslims in the book are practicing the hadiths.
They are.
Yeah.
Circumcision's not in the Quran, but they're doing it because the hadiths say, okay, hijab, it's not in there. Dress modestly, sure. Respect yourself, but to cover your fucking like this and wear gloves and like, are you normal? No.
This is double racist, but I'm going to say it because we're on the secret society of good guys. Doesn't it seem awful to be like an Asian with a hijab on? Like
I've seen them.
Like you only get this little bit and this little bit.
Very, very tiny crevice crack.
The epicantic fold.
That would be shit.
That
That would be shit.
It's
Double
just
racist.
it's
That's
just
the
hilarious.
Uyghurs, though. They're the China Muslims that aren't allowed to practice the way they want because the government doesn't allow you to have a god.
My
So-
main argument is that they freaking worship, like literal idolize Muhammad when you're not supposed to do that. But then they go ahead and like talk about the Christians following Jesus. Yet the Quran says all of Jesus's followers will be the ones at heaven's gate. So I don't know what your argument is, but yeah, I'm just clarifying what it says in
What percentage
Quran.
of the world do you think doesn't believe in any of those books?
I don't know. It's a small, very, very, very small percentage. It grew within the past 50 years. I would say 70 years, actually. Ever since Mossad hit that space in the Middle East, that's when it all fucking turned around. That's when you saw all the hijabs coming. That's when you saw the Islamic
I don't mean just
terrorism.
Muslim. I mean any of the books. Like
Yeah, it would probably be some obscure tribes in the Amazon, but a lot of those have been
or all the native cultures of most
Yeah.
lands
Yeah.
don't believe in any of the books.
Yeah.
I wonder.
Like it's just
I mean,
curious.
How many have been
atheists
influenced though?
now?
No, I just mean even like where they're like, I
atheists.
don't know. I know
They're not
that
touched by the Abrahamic
like where
religions,
they're like,
though.
I believe in God, whatever you want to call it. And I believe
Great
that I'm
Spirit.
attached to something bigger than that.
Yeah.
And I believe there's an intuition and a purpose, and I'm attached to more things, da 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 da. But I don't believe in any of these bounded books.
You're
with steeples.
kind of describing in a small way like deism, like the
Yeah.
deists, the ones that came out of the Enlightenment, a lot of the original founding fathers.
The founding
of
fathers were all
America.
deists. Yeah. A lot of people don't realize that. They all think that they were Christian and they were deists.
And deist is a weird sort of philosophy. I think it is kind of more of like a philosophy than a religion, because deism at its most like oversimplified is that there is a God, there was a higher power, it created everything that we see, but then he just bounced. He was just like, all right, I'm bored, and he's gone now, and that there is no like resurrection, and there is no savior, and there's no second coming or none of that. It's just that we were created by a God and then left to our own devices.
Deism, do you know what dia means? To know. It's the knowing. It's knowingism. You know. It's like the truth. To know the truth. Dia. Medit.
So what would like Gnosticism mean in if you could break up even Gnostic or like the Gnosis?
Go ahead. I'll find out.
Let's just watch.
Since
No.
we're on that topic, like the knowing, I'm just curious.
Let's watch like Proud Parents.
Oh my God, I don't know shit, guys.
We love Layla.
I don't know shit.
I don't know nothing about nothing.
Nothing.
Well, I don't know shit about fuck.
Do you think there's some way, if it's like the stars or a prediction or a magical spell, a bibbity boppity boo, do you think there is some sort of portal that you could have control or knowing over? Like, do you think
I
they
just
could fly
wanted you
the
to sing
shuttle
that
into it?
song again where you made up like the lyrics to Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo on Sunday. Sorry, my head went there. I was like, I need to hear it.
I don't remember it at all.
I don't either,
This
but it
is
was
why I
good.
never did good stand up, is because the things that I'm like, it was like either really great, like I was in the flow, or it was really bad, but it was usually bad because I tried to recreate something where most stand ups get better when they
Yeah.
recreate the thing. I lost all drive. It was like the exact same way if I record you a voicemail and I'm like, oh my God, girl, you're not going to believe what happened to me today. Yada, yada, yammer. Here's a bunch of energy. Dit, dit, dit. And then I realize it's not recording. I just want to stick my head through a window.
Me too. I hate
Or
that
it
feeling.
deletes, or it like won't pull back up, or error code. That shit. I can't LARP it. I've always been a bad actress.
I know, it makes me mad. And then you can hear it in my voice when I send the voice note that does send.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, I derailed that with Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo was just playing in my head, and then I was thinking about you singing it, and then I derailed the conversation. So
It's okay.
what were you saying?
I don't know. Do you think portals are real essentially? And how many, like, are they magic? Is it something with the sky? Do you think the shuttle's going into them? Like, do you think it's just
Dream
it
hackers
flies into
supposedly can
space?
fucking move through them all the time. And here's how they fucking do it. They explain how to do it. They tell you how to fucking do it, but it takes a lot of practice. But have you ever been in a place that feels almost like for a second like another place? Like you could be walking through a doorway, or you could just be walking in a park and like you hear the leaves rustle and the smell or whatever just like takes you back to somewhere else for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Like your memory goes straight to another place.
Especially with scent.
That is a portal. That is a potential for a portal. You have to fucking lean into it enough, hard enough, the memory of it, and you supposedly can walk right through it to that other place.
That's what's happening to people.
What do you think about the like doorways in the woods? Like where it's just stairs to doorways and they're just in the middle of nowhere and there's no structure around.
I mean, like fairy doors.
Kinda. Like I could probably pull where people take hikes in the middle of the woods and
And
there's
there's just stairs leading to nowhere.
a door, or stairs leading to nowhere too.
Yeah.
Or like, and sometimes there's stone or like a stone fence where they're like, oh, maybe everything else deteriorated away, but the fence stayed. But then other times it's just like this makes, I'll see if I can find some of them.
Like
What
random.
about even a fairy ring, though? Have you guys ever stepped into a fairy ring? Where the mushrooms
Maybe.
grow in a perfect circle? It's when
Oh,
it's
yeah,
when
I have.
mushrooms grow in a perfect circle. Like supposedly you can become a slave to the fae if you step into one.
What?
Uh-oh.
You can be taken into their realm and be made a slave forever.
And isn't there a lot of stuff about fairies that their lore would fit an alien or a demon or a
Oh, yeah.
vampire?
Yeah.
Aren't they all?
So if Layla stepped in a bad fairy ring, that could be why she's having these weird dreams.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting to.
Maybe. I also heard if you never broke a bone, you have like these people or beings that are protecting you, your matter body, because you're here for a soul mission to help people awaken and be be strong and unbroken. You're like unbreakable or something.
Me and all my kids and all my
Mhm.
siblings. None of my
Me.
siblings have ever broke a bone
None
either.
of my siblings. None of my well, besides my sister, she got in a car accident.
Yeah,
That's it.
that's
Kind of makes sense.
extenuating circumstance. Yeah.
You know, there's a crossover with fairies and modern religion too, because like Lutheranism and Martin Luther, one of the wildest things is that he had these talks that he published where he would just kind of like walk around and giving these lectures and people would write it all down. And he has this long ass lecture about changelings and he describes that changelings are basically retired. Have you ever heard of this before? But like,
Yeah, about changelings.
Martin Luther
Yes.
said that changelings are like retired fairies. That when a fairy gets old enough, they're instead of wanting to take care of them, their version of sending an old fairy grandma to the old folks' home is that they'll sneak into a human's home and they'll swap an old fairy out with a baby, and they're basically tricking the humans into
Sure. Yep.
taking care of like grandma fairy or whatever, and then they kind of take the baby in exchange. And this is sound crazy, but this is one of the origins of putting babies inside of ovens, was because if you put a baby in the oven and it cried, allegedly the oven would be on and it cried, then it actually was the baby returning, and the fairies took the grandmother back away or grandpa back away. So people would actually do this constantly. And Martin Luther talks about these changelings as if, and he actually said that he had seen it with his own eyes on multiple occasions in these talks. So this is kind of wild to me because I never realized that Christianity and fairies had like such a tight crossover. I figured they were existing in two different worlds. There was like the pagan world and there was the Christian world, but it's not like that. It was very much intertwined very recently too, because Lutheranism isn't that ancient.
No, it's not. And that's the other thing though, is that with changelings, it's not just the oven. Like if you felt like your baby was replaced with a changeling, they would actually take the baby if it got sick for whatever reason, or if it was acting weird, like they would put it outside in the middle of the forest,
Yeah.
like sometimes too, because if they did that, then they would swap the babies back.
Yeah, because you're telling the fairies like, hey, I'm not taking care of your grandma
Yeah,
anymore.
this
So they
is
would
not
swap grandma
my
out.
baby. Yeah.
That is so crazy. I was
Yeah.
just thinking how a dingo ate my baby, how Meryl Streep, and I'm like, likely story, Hollywood.
Yeah. Maybe it was a changeling.
Yeah. Or
And a
Meryl
dingo did eat the
Streep.
baby.
Maybe it was Meryl. Likely name Meryl. Why do you have the name of my dad? Anyway.
How are people still under the Hollywood spell after all of this? Like, seriously.
It's a powerful
Isn't
spell.
it wild? Like, after all of this, they still can't see it.
I know. I am like, I hope we get to see something about Diddy and Ghislaine. Like, I hope any of those trials. Ooh, pretty please. I don't even care. I don't even care about the political thing. I just want to watch Hollywood on tape. I don't want to see any of their craziness, but I can't wait to watch them squirm.
I can't wait.
Like, it's like, I don't know, Kardashians, Ashton, to me. How far does it go? Kamala, Obama. Like, it just seems, and it's all Nexium cult, Wiener, Stormy Daniels, like all of the laptops with Hunter Biden.
It's all blackmail. That's the one thing in common with every single thing you're mentioning is just blackmail.
Honey pots. Yeah, Hugh Hefner. It all is like one big DC madam, Hollywood madam.
Britney Spears is the key. She outed everyone. She had so much proof. And she said, this person bought me, this person bought me, this person bought me, and they all fucked me this way and this way and this way, and they drugged me with this and this and this. And maybe that's why they took her blood, or still taking her blood to this point.
Well, she puts up pictures of Brad Pitt so frequently. And then the one time where she's like, Brad Pitt reminds me of my uncle who and it sounds like some crazy child's tale of getting diddled by her uncle.
I did.
It was so creepy. Like he sat on my lap and I used the bathroom and then I was bleeding. Like, I don't know. It was like, what? Like I don't know. It was wild.
Is this from the memoir?
No,
this
it's
is
all
from
on
her
her
Instagram
Instagram.
posts.
This
I'm
is
telling
so.
you.
I'm
and-
sure I have a picture of that one because that one
and
was
then-
disturbing.
And she posts Brad Pitt a lot. And it's
And
like,
every time
and she
she
goes,
talks about
every
her uncle.
time, yeah, my uncle who looked like this picture, Brad Pitt. And it's just like, ugh, it's so uncomfortable. Something going on with her miniatures and her weird art and her auroras that she does on certain days.
That when she said she was the key, and then she sat there and talks about like what I did video of it because it was like she had talked about some temple that nobody's allowed to go into, but she got to go into. And then she posts a picture of the temple. And then when you fucking slide through the pictures of the temple, one of the pictures links up to another one of her posts that says some other bullshit. And it's just like, there's code here, motherfuckers. There's so, like, she's coding it. And she told you that one post that said, am I the key? Like,
Yeah, with those
It
dirty
looked like
feet.
almost one of
was
those
that
old
the
bathhouses. You know
Yeah.
how like that's what it reminded me of. Like when it reminded me of Q way back when there was a couple of like images where they were like Turkish bathhouses inside.
You guys
Well, and I'm
remember the
wondering, is
pictures
the
of the
am I the
feet?
key post, is that like supposed to be like the Rosetta Stone, or is she just saying she's the Rosetta Stone? So it's like there's code in it somewhere, and I
Project
just
Rose, Zeta Stone.
yeah, yes.
Those feet pictures look like dead body pictures of dead feet, dirty dead feet.
Well, and then that one post with the feet talk about being like, am I buried? Something like that, like almost like she's dead, like my body
So
buried, all this
bizarre.
stuff. It's like, what the fuck
Brittany,
is
if you're
going on
watching,
here?
I see you, girl.
AI Brittany,
You girl.
we're waiting for
Hey.
your post because we know you're going to say something that'll refer back to this
She
episode.
definitely watches us.
I feel like if this were like ancient Egypt or ancient Greece, rather, that Brittany would kind of be the person that they'd put on the chair at the Oracle Delphi, would be like inhaling all of the
Yeah.
fumes and
Yep.
saying
Yes.
crazy things, but then the scribes would be writing it down and interpreting it.
That is exactly what I picture. I feel like there's something with her. There is no logical reason why you're already trapped. You're not allowed to leave your house. You're like completely held prisoner. You're under all your conservatorship, all the things, and they have to take your blood how many times a week? There's no logical reason. 30 something, she would say.
Oh, it
Mhm.
was like 8 times a day, huh?
Yeah.
Something like that.
That's
Like,
bizarre.
that is crazy. It's like, are some people's, like the Brittany the berry, the sweeter the juice?
I like that. That should be a shirt.
Oh my gosh. I don't know, but
Hit
there
the
is something
like
about
button
it.
one more time.
And let me see. Oracle of Delphi from Manly P. Hall, Secret Teachings.
And there was
of all
multiple
ages.
ones too. It wasn't just one. Like they had all sorts of people that acted as the Oracle of Delphi.
Mm.
I know. There's like such a good picture. I'm gonna pull up this, and this is always my mental picture anytime Oracle of Delphi is brought up, so you guys can have it too if you don't have your own already. So this is essentially a portal. She's like sitting over something where energy, and then she has this like footed thing over the hole, and somebody's asking their questions here and asking her. And I think she was like a virgin or some kind of deity as well, because look at, there's like stuff depicted here. This is like similar to that Om or Omega a little bit. But then are these all the lepers? Because I think 300 does like a good job in that
They do.
movie too, of being
That's what I was
like,
thinking of, the Oracle of Delphi in that movie.
give them a whole
Oracle.
bunch of drugs. That's a great thing too. That will be a good thing about X, is we could actually pull up movie scenes and play it. Would it get us taken down off X?
I don't think so.
I don't think it would either.
What's the one with Tom Cruise and the oracles? Do you know which one I'm talking about? I forget. It was weird.
Oh, when he was like really young with the devil and the what's it called? Unicorns and
No, that's legend, but
Oh.
no, it was probably like right around 2001, 2002, but there was this movie where he was in it, and like the oracles would predict everybody's future, and then they would like arrest them if they felt like you were going to be a divergent, I would say, but it's not Divergent, obviously. Not that movie, but
I don't watch his movies anymore.
no, this is like early 2000s.
I think after Mission Impossible and that whole breakdown with his fucking wife that was jumping all over Oprah's chair and shit, I'm like, this guy's fucking weird.
He is fucking weird. Fucking fish and stuff.
Mhm.
That was the moment. Like him professing his love
Weirdo.
for Katie Holmes
That's
was a
fucking weird.
breaking point of
That was
Tom
cringe as
Cruise.
fuck.
It
And
was.
when he went on the Today Show, when he said, "Matt, you're glib. You're glib."
The fish fucker.
Do you guys remember that?
Remember?
But
He's
I
a fish
glib?
fucker.
Yeah, he called Matt Lauer glib. And he was like, and because he had gotten into a fight with Brooke Shields about taking drugs for postpartum depression and told Matt he didn't know what he was talking about with the amount of pharmaceuticals and yada, yada,
Well,
yada.
so that's the Scientology thing, is to distrust all of psychiatry, and therefore any sort of neurological psychiatric drugs would be his arch nemesis. Because ultimately Scientology is magic. They believe in magic over like the psychiatric drug system.
Yes, Maria. We've talked about this. I think before the last episode, I brought it up about how he's a huge fish fucker.
Yeah, and I just said it a little bit ago. too. Fucking fish.
He likes
That is
the
the wildest.
fishy coochie.
That is just the wildest thing. Like apple pie, but
This was
like
Minority Report,
like
by the
American
way.
Pie, but American fish. And then you just make like a shitty little 1-minute clip using the movie, and every time there's a pie, you just put a fish.
But a
and
fish
Tom
makes so
Cruise's
much
head
more
over.
sense than a fucking pie, does it
Just
not?
not a
Like,
sheep's head fish.
I would be way
I'm
too
gonna be
crumbly.
real. Like I can't even stick my fingers in the gills of fish.
Me either. I like to fish, but I will not.
I
Like
don't
I
want to
will not
stick my
take.
fake dick in it
I
that I
don't
don't
bait my
have.
own hook if I'm using like bait, and I will not take the fish off. Somebody else got to do that shit because I'm not gonna smell like a fucking fish.
I love watching my brother fish, but I have no interest.
Oh, I'll catch them all day, but I ain't doing the rest of it.
Nasty. Tearing apart fish's vaginas. Like, what's wrong with these people?
I
y'all?
don't picture him fucking him in the vagina.
I think it's the mouth.
I think it's
Yeah,
the
nah.
mouth too.
I think it's the
It's a
vagina. That's how
logical place that
fucked
you would
up they
fuck a
are.
fish.
You
Like,
were
I wonder if
picturing
fish
Thomas.
feel pleasure.
Wait, you pictured mouth, Thomas?
I was pictured the mouth, yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
And
It's gotta be the
Abbie
mouth,
and me,
right?
Layla was
Mouth.
picturing.
Okay,
the
so men
fish
fuck
pussy.
fish, men fuck turkeys, men fuck goats, men fuck corpses. What else do they fuck? Babies.
Look,
Women
Soon-to-be
who say
this
robots.
is why
no.
I really think that
Robots.
this is why I really think that all DNA mixes. I really think that like because when you see like the sheep that have a fucking human head and all that shit, like or the fish with human head, the fish with human
Oh
head.
my gosh, the teeth.
It's a fucking thing.
They're Tom Cruise's teeth.
DNA, all DNA mixes. I'm telling you.
The sheep head fish.
And I'm
Bro,
saying
put
South Park fucking
Tom
called
Cruise
it with the
smile and
with the
smiling
freaking weird
fish
professor
together.
that has all the mixed like humanoid animals and stuff, and he's really just fucking all
Oh
his
yeah,
animals.
that was based on Island of Dr. Moreau.
Was it really?
That whole episode was essentially like mocking the Island of Dr. Moreau. Yeah.
That's so funny.
I have to pull this up. Do you think these are Tom Cruise's teeth? Like,
the human with or the fish with the human head?
no, it's just Thomas's obsession. Like,
Oh, when I first saw this, I thought it was like some AI Photoshop shit.
Me too. I absolutely thought it was Photoshop, and then you realize that this is real, and people have been talking about this for centuries.
I would never
from
Oh my
fish
God, he has
fuckers.
the cone heads lines of
Fish
teeth.
fuckers.
You know how the cone heads like have multiple lines of teeth, like layers, I guess.
even the cone heads is like the Anunnaki a little bit. Like the amount of like truth in the cone heads is probably closer
Real?
to our reality. Yeah.
Watching all this
that
shit
would
that
be
we
just like
with
Hollywood.
the new
The
filter.
skulls give it away with that weird bloodline that we talk about sometimes.
Probably all Dan
The
Aykroyd
they.
movies are real. Ghostbusters.
Oh, he did that other alien movie too. My Stepmom's an Alien. Did you guys ever watch that one? With I
No.
think Kim Basinger is in it.
I've never
It
seen that
sounds
one.
familiar.
And there was a alien in a fucking in her purse, like a little snake alien in her purse.
For real?
With one eye symbolism.
Akhenaten.
I don't know. Portals and aliens and demons. But it seems like if a portal opened, would you guys go in it?
You're damn right I would. Why not? Adventure. like
By
a
yourself?
motherfucker. Yeah,
I
What
don't
if
think I would.
I would.
I don't think I would
'Cause I
go
would
into the
probably just be
portal.
like, "This is a lucid dream. Let's fucking do it."
There was oh man, I can't remember the name of it. There was a show with, I want to say, Kevin Costner. I'm probably wrong on this. But he owns a farm, and it's not Yellowstone or whatever. But he owns a farm, outer limit or something.
Are you talking
And then
about
like a
Outer
big
Range?
hole, kind of like the gate, like a big hole just opens up the middle of this freaking farm, and people are like jumping into the portal, and it brings you to another sort of like timeline.
Are you talking about Outer Range? I think is
Outer
what it's
Range,
called.
that's
Yeah,
it.
it's
Yeah,
so
yeah.
fucking good. Yes, it's Amazon Prime.
Is
It's
it
really
Kevin
good.
Costner, or am I just making
No,
that part up?
it's not Kevin Costner. I don't know the name of the actor, but it is somebody that everybody would recognize. Um, but no, it's a freaking great show.
this is so stupid. Did you guys ever watch Quantum Leap?
Oh, of
Love that
course.
show.
Do you remember the one where he looks in the mirror and he's like, "I'm retarded"?
Yes, that's the one that always stands out in my head.
I almost want to pull that up. I almost need that to come like just a gift that I could just have randomly on the show. Um, it's so horrible. Quantum Leap, though, something about that rings true to my reality.
Me too.
Sometimes I feel like a walk-in. Like, what if you were to just wake up as you in a whole different timeline of you? Like that you hear people on different drugs that they're like, no, I had a family. I lived with my family for years. Like coming back here to this is not my reality. Like I had a whole house, I had a whole life. And some people feel like that about dreams. And so it's just like,
Well, that's what I was gonna say is
with
that
babies.
dreams, like there's different levels to dreaming. So you can dream, like you'll know if you've ever had false awakening dreams, like that's a different level of dreaming. So however many false awakenings you've had before you wake up, do you guys know what I'm talking about? Where you think you're awake and you're not
Yep.
awake. And I've done it. I've gone all the way to fucking work and realized I was still sleeping. Like, and I've done it
that'll
like
make
probably
you pee
7 or 8 times.
yourself.
Oh, it pisses me off. But it's really energetically hard on you too. Because it's like when I have nap dreams and I have the false awakenings, I can't, like my body is so fucking tired when I wake up, and I actually do wake up. But those are different levels of dreaming. So Castaneda says that, like, so if you do it 13 times, you're on the 13th level of dreaming. But if you wake up in one of those other realities, you are fucking shifting timelines. You are in a fucking different reality.
Mm.
So like the dreaming isn't without risk is basically it's important for people to know that.
I used to have those kind of dreams all the time when I was in grade school. I think like maybe like my whole high school career. That I would have these really vivid dreams where I would wake up and I'd get dressed and I'd like get my homework done that I didn't have done the night. Like I would do all the things, and then I would wake up and I would be like, "Oh my god, are you kidding me? Like I didn't actually
Yes.
do all those things that I had to do."
It's the worst. Like
Or
getting to work and you're like, "Oh my god, I'm not awake yet."
Or you have something in your dream that you're so excited about, like somebody gets you a
Ooh,
present or a
lottery,
thing,
you win the lottery or
or you
something.
look
Yeah.
down and you're like, "Oh my gosh, I always wanted this outfit." It could be simple, like, "These are my dream nails. Oh my gosh." Whatever thing, and then you wake up and you're all like, "Oh."
It was just
My
a dream.
daughter dreams that she has red
I know
boots
those are
in almost
sex
every single
dreams
dream.
too.
She's always dreams about red boots. Like she's like, "Whatever dream I'm in, I always have these red boots on." So then today she's like, "I'm so excited. I'm gonna buy these red boots." I was like, "Of course you're gonna buy the red boots." She's like, "Well, I've always wanted a pair." I was like, "Well, okay, because your dream person always has him." So
There's experience of people like with babies and dreams and like actually having a full-on experience with a child, and they'll wake up from the dream missing this child and actually waking up like holding a baby in their hands, but like not really, there's no baby there. But in that I guess reality swap that they go through in that dream realm, it is very real for them. Like they're heartbroken that that child is not with them.
see, and I have a theory on that because I have dream babies all the time, but
Mhm.
it's not never the same baby. Sometimes
Yeah.
it'll be like a brand new newborn or a premature baby, or sometimes it'll be a girl, boy, different races all the time. But so the idea of like walk-ins. I almost, because when I see babies in person, like my kids always trip out because we'll be at the grocery store and a random baby will just look at me and they always like smile, or they'll like say hi to me and they're like, what
My
the fuck? Like,
attention or
yeah,
something, yeah.
that's so weird. And I'm like, because I bet you I fucking have taken care of them in the dream realm. Like, that's one of my dream babies.
Mhm.
And I think that sometimes, just like the Sims, when they're laying down in their bed and they have the little thought bubbles going on, and you can tell that they're dreaming in their beds. Like, what if we do walk in sometimes and we take care of fucking, or what if when somebody's living a nightmare and like their life is shit and you're going into this nightmare and you're somebody else, like, what if you're experiencing that for them so that way they don't have to live the trauma of it, like, on that level? What if that's part of what dream work is that we're
Whoa.
actually like, we are going in and walking into them and experiencing that for them so that way
So
they can freaking continue, like, that they can actually deal with it and process it.
That's wild.
Or just
my theories.
if like the same way they brainwash us in ways, if you can control your dreams and you can see like the same way of the Medici cards, you can play out all these timelines in milliseconds in your sleep, and then you can see the possibilities played out before you. It makes you more powerful in reality. Like that way, it would be the same as seeing a visual, like, or a
Yeah.
storyboard, but now you're seeing yourself actually do the thing. But then sometimes I think with dreams is, what if the real whole work is like just getting comfortable? Because if you're like comfortable in a dream realm, you could also go to the Star Wars cantina, and none of those aliens would freak you out. Like, you're just used to like a dream realm where things are a little bit wackadoo. You might see creatures and dragons and these kind of weird entities. So if you were with aliens or demons or whatever name we want to put on said entity, it doesn't freak you out as much if you existed and had conversations or maybe even understood languages or shared dances or holidays or whatever kind of weird thing happens in the dream realm. The better you get at it, it seems like whatever kind of reality were to fall away here, if you were good in your dreams, because you've already seen the craziest absurdity, you could almost like calm yourself down. Like, okay, here we are. There's aliens.
That's one of the
I'm
points of
not a
dreaming too,
dreamer.
is
It
that
seems like it's like
you're supposed to try to merge the two worlds. But that's what, like, so I have sometimes an issue getting lucid when I should be able to, because I'll like all of a sudden I'll looking at a bald eagle land on my arm, like, holy fuck, this is so fucking cool. Am I dreaming? Hell no, this is real as fuck. I have a bald eagle on my arm. Like, that should wake me up, right? But it doesn't, because it seems like real as hell. And
oh
it's
my
like, no,
gosh,
this is
you just said the
absolutely
bald
freaking
eagle
awesome.
thing, and this is so off topic. But I most of the good information I hear in the week, I usually hear here. So I'm like, I don't want to repeat a story. But this is something. There is a person in my town that she worked for a chimp sanctuary, and she just walked too close to the cage, and a chimp like pinched her arm and just pulled the skin off her arm. Like, just pulled the
Oh,
skin off her
shit.
arm.
What
Like,
the
she just has
fuck?
a big scar on her arm from it, but like just pinch. Like,
Chimps are
primates
scary.
are no joke.
They are not. I heard nobody goes into the, like, chimpanzee enclosure in zoos.
No, they won't rescue you from a chimp. You're in it.
You're a
You're
goner,
fucked.
You
pretty
got a
much.
better shot with the tiger.
I will say the little
A
monkeys
big
in
cat.
Six Flags
Maybe
are
not a
so
tiger.
cute. The little tiny monkeys at Six Flags.
You know what's so crazy about a
So
lot of
cute.
primates? They could be so crazy, smart, all these things. But if you just put a little moat around them, they can't swim.
Most
It's
of them can, huh?
Yeah, most of them. So I feel like for humans, if there ever is Lord of the Apes, we live on oil rigs.
Well, I saw this very interesting video of how this man in this indigenous tribe was trying to find a water source. So he trapped a monkey by using salt, I guess organic salt cubes, and he put a trap. I don't know what kind of trap it was, but this is a fascinating video. And finally, he trapped the monkey, and the monkey was eating the salt, and he wanted to get away, but he wouldn't. So the guy fed him more salt and fed him more salt, and finally let him go. So he followed the monkey to the water source. And this is apparently how these people thought of ways to find water. Follow the monkeys, follow the animals.
That's where I
Clever.
think most of the idol gods of like the Abraxas, the
Mhm.
cow gods, the thing, they were all just stages of humans of what provided them the most sustenance.
Yeah.
So it's just like before we were hunters, we would have stolen eggs, and we would have stolen eggs from birds and serpents, like nests.
Yeah.
And so we would have given them some kind of deity for that. And then there would have been a time that we were like, oh my gosh, we can drink the cow's like blood. We can drink its milk. We can eat its meat. We can, oh my gosh, this thing's magic. We have to give it an idol. So I almost feel like somewhere there was
given
a
to
bunch of
us.
animal idols once, and then the idols now are replaced with men.
Hmm. Because they didn't need the animals anymore, because they
And
learned
then
what they
if
learned
you
from them.
look at like, yeah, they like the animals were up here, and then there was these gods, like all these, big Hellenistic god statues all over everywhere. And then now places have men statues of men. That's
Majority.
almost in a lot of ways, that's kind of like an example of that cutting away of those lowercase gods.
That's a good question.
They probably wanted to get rid of all those statues of men so they could build their Marxist statues up of all their deities.
Huh.
I don't know.
That's a good question, my Maria. What if man wasn't even a thing? Like, what happened? It was probably just all animals. And then all of a sudden, the man came, and that's when history started.
I mean, this is starting to get dangerously close to Box Saga again.
God damn it.
All roads eventually just lead to Box Saga.
It's the Ouroboros of it all, right?
All roads lead to Bach.
Maybe it's the serpent. There's something to do with the serpent. It's
Oh my
all
gosh, the
tied to
Adam and Eve
serpent.
thing that with the that
Yeah.
you posted with the serpents up their asses. I'm like,
Yeah.
what
It's like
was
a
that
clone
even?
thing. I don't know. I really don't know. I've never seen that image before. An image of Adam and Eve together, and both serpents are wrapped around their legs, and their mouths are both locked in their crotches. Fucking wild.
What is it from?
I sent it in the group chat, I believe.
Is this a new Netflix series?
Yeah.
No, it's
No, it's
a
an image I fall
statue.
upon. So I fall upon weird shit. Apparently. This is the Golden Shit Club. Yeah, you guys won't be able to see it really.
No, but just like then they can look it up if you know where it's from.
It says 12th
Right.
century carving of Adam and Eve. Richard Croft, Creative Commons attribution. This image, you can kind of see it, but the serpent's heads are like at their crotch, like both Adam and Eve. So who's right, who's wrong, I don't know, but that's set in stone.
Let's see.
Literally.
Adam and Eve. Okay, I found it.
There you go.
That's then if you give me enough, because if I put like snake locked onto their crotches, the images that will pull up for me will be so dangerous.
Yeah, both. It's like the Ouroboros wrapped around both of them.
You know what else it looks like is like the Orin on
The never-ending story.
Yeah.
But what are they doing? What are they sucking on or drinking?
It's their thumb, like this.
No, they have a bottle in their hand.
Really?
Their thumbs. Is it a bottle?
It's their thumbs. It's their
Oh,
thumbs.
it does look like a little bottle. Like, look what's in.
Almost
They
like
do
a
have something in their
potion,
hand.
but maybe
Yeah.
it's their thumbs also.
It looks like they're both drinking or eating, like sharing. You know how you cross your arms and then you're like,
probably drinking.
Oh yeah.
She's got some super duper long nips. I'm not body shaming her. I'm just
Yeah.
calling out.
I don't know. It's a very interesting depiction of them.
Pretzel.
I've never seen it before, so I'm like, oh wow, fascinating.
I don't think that would sell me as much on the tree of good and evil or knowledge. Or like, oh yeah, it's just this nice apple, but also this snake is going to attach itself to your crotch.
I don't know. Just the idea of just good and evil, like, okay.
But isn't the snake representative of both the phallic and the vagina? Like, isn't it the representative of both? Like, it is the Ouroboros because the mouth of it is the representative. It's like cutting an apple. And then, like, the snake is the snake. It's just depends on how you're looking at it, like what direction that you're looking at it from. So the serpent representation could just be both.
What in the Elliot page is happening here?
Oh no, you tell me, man.
Oh my gosh. What a bummer, the Elliot Page thing, because that roller derby movie with Juliette Lewis and Drew Barrymore with Street Fire. What a bummer.
You know what we should talk about?
What?
Mr. Rothschild.
Oh yeah. That guy died. Let's pull that up.
Died.
And
wasn't
it like there's 33 days left in the year?
And 33 minutes until the fire people came up that they reported in the news.
And they're like,
so
his house is like a shanty, like compared
On
to
a
all the
hill.
look. I thought that was a pizza ad, and I was like, ain't that some shit? Okay. Man believed to be member of wealthy Rothschild family dies after house fire in the Hollywood Hills. It isn't believed to be. He is.
What does it say? Believed to be? What?
Isn't it
what
a
does that
weird
even mean?
title for a news organization? Like they would be the one that could determine whether or not he was actually
A Rothschild?
because all they do is they just report on opinions now. They wait for someone to say something on Twitter, and then the person saying the thing on Twitter becomes the news story, and they don't have to do their job anymore.
Well, his house is on a huge hill. So what lies beneath it? Chaney was on point with her comment. They're burying the tunnels.
That's what it's like. Lookout Mountain Avenue. Around 4:40 p.m., a total of 45 firefighters extinguished the blaze in about 33 minutes, according to the Los Angeles Fire Department. And so they didn't answer the call for 33 minutes, and it took them 33 minutes to put it out. What?
What the fuck?
And it's the 33rd day. There's 33 days left in the year. That's funny. And they're like, he was a hoarder.
Like we care, number one.
Well, I think they're saying that because it's like there's about to be a whole bunch of trucks and everything outside to remove a whole bunch of debris and whatever. And so that if they're like, he's a hoarder, then they're just bringing out weird stuff. They don't know what he had in there. He's a hoarder. You guys know what hoarders are. We showed you them for the last decade.
Bottles of baby oil. That's what they'll find there.
That would be interesting. That would be hella interesting.
I wonder if Diddy's house had a bunch of fish too.
I just love how it's not
I wonder if that's just like
mainstream,
a
though.
bigger kink.
But what if, like, your house, like the same way Hugh Hefner and his house attached to James Caan and Jack Nicholson and Warren Beatty. And so what if, like, this on Lookout Mountain attaches to who knows what other celebrities live right around this area, that they could just have a tunnel that some celebrities watching this house on fire right now, like, oh, shit.
Something's about to go down.
That's what
Aren't
I think
they
is
all
so
moving away?
curious about even the sale of the Playboy Mansion, how it stays in these weird corporate buys. Like, we're going to keep it this thing.
Didn't most of these celebrities move away this time around?
Some of them, like, I know Ellen.
Ellen did for sure.
Tom
there's
Hanks
a
went
lot-
back.
Ellen
Tom Hanks left,
and
too.
Portal Del Rossi.
Oh my God.
I like how the dumbest dad joke.
I like your dad jokes.
Thanks.
They tickle me.
Thanks. They
This is
tingler.
bizarre.
What's that thing called on the back?
The Tingler.
The tingler. They tingle you. I thought it was weird that I didn't pull up that Sagittarius man with the scorpion on his back image before, but then when you guys said the tingler, I was going to pull up the tingler and that image was there, and I was like, fair enough. Same.
No, I don't know. There's something more to that story. He's not dead, number one. He went to Hollywood Island where they all go and just like live life. Do they really die? I don't know. I don't think they do. Do they really go to jail? Is Maxwell really in jail? I don't think so.
People
really don't.
right now, she's jogging outside. I don't know. There's some big story that came out about her in the last week, like her being treated poorly in jail.
Yeah, I don't believe it.
What does that constitute for one of them?
Epstein didn't die. That was a body double. Obviously, she's not in jail. Like, they're off somewhere. They're all gonna go to that island where Epstein's at, wherever he's hiding out. That's my.
You don't think there's different factions playing? This is because even if you go just a little bit back in time, like we were talking about Albert Pike earlier, the Protestants didn't let it go. They didn't just come to America and then they were like, now in America, we're cool with Catholics. Like, just because like the whole Mary Elizabeth thing and how deep that went for how long and what the Catholic Church stands for now and how it kind of stole all these religions and symbolisms in the area, but then kind of worships a fish god. It's interesting because they have the fish fucking hat on that they wear. But then they kind of like stole all this stuff. So even Albert Pike, he was so anti-Catholic. Like that was a huge, big fight for him. So even that, sometimes it's like, we always think just like nefarious, like, or like malevolent, but sometimes don't you think there's different factions over our head that we don't know about or underbellies or secret societies because of the church in different slayings, whether it be the Templars or the witches or whoever the church has gone after all throughout time. That's why the secret societies would have to exist. So it's like, can we really just trust that it's one faction over our head?
No, but I have to. I have to derail the conversation really quick.
Okay,
Yeah, because you
Derail it.
said fish fucking hat, and then my brain goes immediately to the orcas with the fucking fish hats right now that are like supposedly.
Oh my gosh, this is the craziest story. Oh my gosh, party for fish fuck.
Yeah. Okay. So apparently in 1987, a whole bunch of orcas were like swimming around with salmon hats. They had like dead salmon on their heads, and they were all doing it like a fashion trend or whatever. I don't know, but anyway, it was something that happened in 1987. It hasn't occurred until
1987.
Oh, what did I say? 97?
You said 87 the
It was
first time,
87.
and then
It was
97 the second time.
How is the heat of your head not cooking?
You guys, this is such
fish?
a real story. Look at that she's talking about. Orcas start wearing dead salmon hats again after ditching the trend for 37 years. Photographers stunned by orcas wearing dead salmon as hats. 1980s fashion returns for killer whales. Orcas are spotted wearing salmon as hats.
So when you said fish fucking hat, I was like, did you say that on purpose? Like, were you trying to go here? But then that's when my brain stopped listening because that's all I was thinking about was the salmon hats with the orcas.
And look at the bad, like look at Vice. They're like, I don't care. Just find a transparent salmon and just lay it on the head of the whale.
That's a good question. Are they finding a specific spot on their head where it's not falling off their head, or like how's it sticking on them?
What are they trying to tell us? Are they trying to give us a message?
Maybe they're just like holding onto the tail between their mouth or whatever. Because
I have to show you guys Vice.
Or is it in a hole of? Oh, they're probably like breathing in.
What the fuck?
What?
Like they didn't even try. Whoever the editor was.
Such bullshit.
Yeah, I'm like, look, I need this on my desk in 2 minutes because this is a breaking story. If NBC beats us with the salmon hat, we're ruined.
I'm telling you.
I
NASA
don't-
did it.
Is that actually is a Pope orca?
Oh, see, that's what is
Pope
the.
orca?
It's he's trying to be religious.
You mentioned the Pope, and the first thing that came into my mind was that image of the Pope in front of everybody, and for some strange reason, he disappears on camera. Whoosh. You guys seen that?
No.
That went viral. The
Well,
image,
the Pope disappeared?
yeah, like on camera, like he was backing out, and then he just like woof, like a CGI image just disappears, like a computer image. Whoop.
Was it at like Notre Dame or something before it lit on
Something.
fire?
I don't remember, but it was strange. I think he had 2 kids with him. I don't remember. I hope this is not
That
like a
sounds like a Pope.
Mandela effect, but this was the Pope. He went up in front of everybody out this window, and he was backing out, and then as he was backing out, he disappears. Like he just, yeah, you see? I'm
Everyone's
telling
like,
you.
okay, Tupac hologram.
Yeah, it was like a hologram, pretty much. I'm like, that's strange.
Also, speaking of weird Pope stuff, I saw that one of the Pope just named the latest saint, and it was this kid that made the Vatican website or something. And the way that the popes usually declare saints is that they will observe, I think, 3 different miracles, and once the 3 different miracles are attributed to one particular person, that particular person, it's shown as like proof of sainthood or whatever. But the latest saint is literally just some dude that made their website.
But the body also has to be without decay. Like, I don't know if you knew that. They
Yeah, I
keep
feel
the-
like they
yeah.
fudge all that crap.
You think so?
Yeah, I feel like I want to say I know so, but I don't like know personally. But it just seems that that's exactly
Like,
what
it
they
just
would
doesn't
do.
resonate with you that they actually do that. But then that's what's so weird is that, did you know that every Catholic church has a freaking piece of a saint in it? Like,
Yeah, in the altar, they're supposed to have some sort of a religious relic inside the unfinished altars.
like some of them will be like a patch of their skin with the hair in it and stuff like that, and you're like, "Ooh, gross."
Wouldn't it matter like if you got like a
So
lame
magic.
saint? Like some saints seem more magic than other saints.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I remember that.
My saint can beat up your saint.
I remember that.
Who is your
shit.
Saint Thomas? Saint Thomas?
St. Thomas, yeah,
Of course,
language.
yeah.
Titties.
That is such a real question. Like,
I-
what are they up to? Why are they riding around with the salmon on their head? How does it just stay there?
Or is
How
it
is-
even real? Why the fuck are we even?
Oh
you
my
know,
gosh, I know
the
what
hell?
they're probably sucking it to their blowhole.
That's what I was just saying. I was trying to say that. They're like sucking it in.
They're sucking it to their blowhole and holding a salmon on their blowhole.
What that blowhole do, girl?
I bet you
Oh, I wonder if humans fuck that hole. Or
it
men,
seems
excuse
like
me.
some little tricky
I wouldn't
orca,
wanna
because
do that to a
orcas are
killer
tricky.
whale.
Orcas are so tricky. They're like the wolves of the sea. There's so much lore about them and when they came, the blackfish. And so it would be just like an orca to be like, oh, I bet you we could suck a salmon to our blowhole and then we can ride it like drifting up to the beach and all the seals will be excited and then get them.
Mm.
Like they seem like
They're
little.
fishing.
Yeah,
Or maybe an
or
elderfish that needs help
Bait.
swimming and it can't swim that far and they're doing them a favor. It's like, come on, elderfish.
they're luring in birds or something. It just seems like, and they haven't done it for 37 years. Like it's a trend that's back. Like salmon hats are so in this season.
Just like bell bottoms.
It's
Fashion's
curious.
another topic, but I don't want to get into that.
That you don't want to?
We might get kicked off, man.
Off limits.
We'll get kicked off. We'll go in so many routes with that topic, the fashion world and human
That's a
skin.
whole show. We'll just do that as a whole topic.
Yeah, it's just a lot.
We'll have to dress up for that episode. We'll have to.
Fish on the timeline.
Watch the
know.
water. The aliens are
Watch the
coming.
water. But it just seems crazy. There is some kind of law. Like maritime law makes me insane. Like the idea that the world just agrees on this maritime law, and then how much stuff they try to convince us in these words that are so important to use, like the structure. I just think it's wild.
I have one hard time with maritime law, and that's just that having gone through the legal system a few times here and there's no consistency. I can't imagine someone basically doing something that the state doesn't want you to do, and then someone in the prosecutor's office is like, wait a minute, guys, they got us here on this maritime law. We totally can't violate this particular law, because this is the same place where all the sovereign citizen laws come from, is this maritime law concept. And
Well-
I don't know if sovereign citizen law has ever held up in even a single court case.
I thought it was quantum, whatever it's called, Russell J. Gould. All this would work if you're using the postal system. Like, he's a postmaster. Like, he goes through the original post office and he ships himself places, and he knows the proper terminology, and he calls it syntax, I believe. And going by that in the proper language, obviously, and the proper capital, lowercase, it all means something. The type of ink, the color ink, the type of paper, it's all that magic exists there. That's what makes things real. That's what I understand. So when you go through the proper processing of this, then they have no way to fight you. But we don't know the proper way to document it, get the stamps or whatever, the blood prints and all of that. There's a lot that goes
But I
into
feel
it.
like
And
they
there's
could
a
still
lot of
just
money
slap
too.
the cups on you and bring you to jail and be like, all right, go ahead and go through all your maritime law and figure out the proper spelling while you wait in this jail cell.
Well, here's the thing. He explains this about how he went to jail. He doesn't drink. He doesn't eat. He doesn't take anything. He doesn't sign anything. He doesn't fingerprint. He doesn't do anything. And he will sit there as a prisoner of war, like fighting against the system. Like, you guys are holding me captive. I don't want your food. I don't want your water. I don't want a shower. I don't want anything from you. You do not own me. I am not your dog. So he sat in jail for over I don't know how long. So his friends started sending him food in the mail, drinks in the mail, so he can eat. That's the only way he survived. And he lost a lot of weight. And there's documentation on this. So you have to fight them, but it's going to be a painful, painful process for you to fight them. There's ways to do it, but it's wild. His story is unbelievable. I watched, I think, War Castles 1 through 12, I believe. But yeah, you just have to know your stuff. But I don't know anything, guys. I just question it all.
Yeah, sovereign citizens seem like I mean, I know a couple of them, but
I know a lot of them, but like, how many times, I just wonder, seriously, how many times in reality did someone get pulled over by the police and they said, I'm not driving on traveling, and the cops were like, damn, he knew the secret magic password, now we can't do anything
Never.
about it because he said the right, like, most cops don't even know the actual law that they're supposed to be enforcing,
Yep.
let alone another set of secret laws that are gonna like get you out of things. It just I believe that maybe there was some point in history in which invoking maritime law would have been almost equal to doing like a Masonic like widow's son hail, where they did the secret thing, okay, maybe they're on the level, maybe they're part of this club that I'm part of, let's let them go. But I don't think that has a place in society in 2024.
I don't know why I believe that it is a power. The water is an intelligence that we don't even understand yet. Like the intelligence that they're finding out today, like imprinting a fingerprint on a glass, like you put an image under the glass, it will freeze that structure in that way. So I feel like the whole shul and the void and this being a massive, I want to say a aquarium. Like, we're in this like huge like water system. Most of us, they say we're made of water. A lot of the things that are around us are made of water, or so to say plasma, or a different type of water, H3O or
So you're trying to say
H4.
we're
God
fucking
fucking knows.
fish, Layla?
Maybe. I mean, the best way to
Maybe.
graph a human is using fish scales. No?
Weird.
Well,
Water's an intelligence. It's something.
It's like all of the hell reference, it's always Bident, but all of the water reference is usually Trident. So I just think it's like a whole nother depth,
Mm-hmm.
a whole nother darkness, a whole nother unknown. But they always tell us over and over again, we know more about space than we do about our own oceans. How would you even know that? That seems like a crazy statement to make.
Thank you. I love you. That's the perfect question to ask people. Like, we live in this realm and we don't know what's in it, but we know what's out there. Wild.
Yeah, but it just seems so crazy. If there was an ocean, like they're talking about sending like a satellite to the moon of Saturn, Titan. And so here's this Titan reference again that we're like coming up because they do like I think the lowercase gods and the Titans, there's so much about it. Like I think the Bible writes about the Titans and the giants. I don't mean like Nephilim giants, I mean Godzilla giants.
Yeah.
And I think the Titans were a whole nother thing that somewhere went.
Vagina
by the
caves got me
wayside.
convinced, y'all. Just saying. There's
What
a
about
lot
if
of
the
them.
salmon, like the orcas are trying to wear salmon on their heads to like give to they're like, oh shit, y'all, you don't even know. I even looked up comet stuff. I'm like, what happened in 1987? What was a big celestial event that happened in 1987? Like, what are these orcas up to with this salmon sacrifice, this weird salmon ritual?
I don't know. Fishy. Seems fishy to me.
What other portals you guys got?
Mm.
Make sure you hit the like and subscribe. Make sure you find everyone here and follow them
Yeah,
everywhere.
please do that.
And yeah, I am excited to Real Housewives you guys soon.
Mm.
I think there's going to be so much stuff to randomly bring up on SSGG throughout this and talk about it. But since Thomas officially said it today, I'm excited.
Yeah, we got some sketches in the works. Still working through some of them. I got another update, but I'm gonna sketch something out that I've got in mind and have the artist do one more take on it, and then we can start showing some preview type stuff.
Yeah, I won't give anything away until it's time. But if you've followed me for any amount of time, it'll all make sense. Who like my super villains and stuff are. So I can't wait. Anyway, that's a portal of its own. Different art. That was the other thing with the Real Housewives doing the Surrealism Ball, and then the Rothschilds doing the Surrealism Ball. And so the Real Housewives, that episode aired on Wednesday. We talked about the Surrealism episode and all about the antlers and the rabbits and all the crazy stuff they lean into and the spirit cooking of it all. And then a Rothschild dies this week. I thought, that's
Crazy
curious
timing.
timing. Yeah. Like it's like a surge again. And then it also made me think all of these were said to pay homage to Salvador Dali. And then I'm like, all his stuff, they were like the bridge collapse. They were like, this is like a Salvador Dali painting, and all these other things. This is like Salvador Dali. So then I was like, maybe there just needs to be somebody needs to do a whole conspiracy deep dive on just Salvador Dali.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Wasn't he weird and like a crazy person?
I don't know anything about him, honestly. There's a museum over here.
Pedophile.
Oh, it's
in
so
Florida.
good. It's actually really,
The museum's awesome. I just
really,
don't know
really
enough
good.
about Salvador Dali. Just
He
his
was
art.
crazy. He was completely irrational. The official story is irrational. He was also easily conned out of a lot of his money, all of the people. He was kind of like I don't know if you ever heard the stories of like Brian Wilson of the
From
Beach
the Beach
Boys,
Boys.
and how everyone just kind of took advantage of him constantly. Salvador Dali was kind of in a similar spot, except he had a wife that was very much like protector of his estate to some extent. But he kind of, I think he died pretty much broke, and he spent the last decade of his life just scrambling to try and make money doing all these things, which is wild considering how much his artwork was worth, how many rich people that he was hanging around with constantly, but he kind of died without having a lot to his name. And then one of his main legacies were all of these art prints that were getting put out. But even the art prints that he was putting out were not even true lithographs. They were just like cheap reproductions, but he was selling them because he thought they were. It's a whole wild story that he just became this cash cow for the elites, and they just milked him constantly. And you would expect someone that spent all their time with rich people and that was a visionary, and that they have these surreal dinner balls that are like him as the guest of honor. But I think that might even be part of that humiliation ritual of like, haha, let's get these artists to sort of praise us, and then we're not even gonna cover their tab, like make them pick up the bill. That kind of felt like part of Salvador Dali's life was playing out that humiliation ritual.
And it's like they almost have to keep whatever they get the most of. That's what they have to keep propping up. So if I own a whole bunch of your art, I want to, if I own you and your art, I want to prop up the art. I want to say you're the best artist. Your shit's so expensive, priceless, all the things, because I have all your art. It's like
His
a
mustache gives it
cryptocurrency.
away.
His mustache. Anyone with that mustache on notice.
On some shit.
He
But
definitely.
I'm not gonna knock these minds. You know, they made a place for themselves on this earth. I guess that's the whole point of the game, right? Let your name live forever. That's the game. How can you have your name exist forever? The legacy.
What about if that's part of the somebody said to me that, and I wish I knew who, but they said something about grief, and if I thought that when you mourn someone, you're holding them in like a limbo.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say about like letting your name live on, because it makes me wonder if you don't get to move on from this realm, if it does.
Well,
Like,
there's
I'm
a
not saying obscurity is what if obscurity isn't a bad thing?
I don't know where in South America, but they have this saying. I believe it's in Mexico. Someone from Mexico told me this, but they said you die 3 times, I believe. Once when you're born, once when you're living, and once when you die. No, once when you're living, once when you die, and once when you when the last person says your name. So the last person that ever mentions your name on this realm, your death is final. Like
But how would you know? What if someone wrote your name down and then no one said it for like 3,000 years, and then someone finds it and they say it? Do they bring you back to life? Or do you just not die that whole time because something else knows that someone's about to say it in a few millennia?
Are you just like swimming in a pool of mercury until waiting?
Dude, I was just saying that. Maybe you're swimming in a pool of souls, and then there's someone mentioned your name. You're back in the game.
Yeah, you're like, why don't I get to go on yet? Why
Like
does everybody else get to go through the thing? Because
like
somebody's
the
gonna mourn me.
offerings for like Day of the Dead.
But then there would be this other thing that if there were these deities and these idols and these statues, like it would be holding something in this realm. It wouldn't get to move on to the next realm. So maybe that would be like an anchor to, you know, how you say there's levels to this. Like, no one in hell knows your name, you know, but like, or do they? Do you have an anchor in hell? Do you have an ankle into
All my
Taurus?
friends are gonna be there. Are you kidding? They know my name.
Is that a gay slander that you're giving me right now? Just kidding. Like all the gays. That's what I always think. You go to heaven for the climate and hell for the company. Because it does seem like the music would be fantastic in hell compared to heaven.
If hell is the thing.
Wasn't Satan or Lucifer the music leader in heaven?
If you go to heaven, it's just harps and Christian rock and Creed.
I'm sorry.
And Amy Grant.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
The idea of souls burning in eternity of hellfire, it's just, that's a lot of energy. Literally, that's too much work. Like, for what? For what point? For what? To prove what to who? To God? God already know. Like, if
but
God
that's
is
what's so weird is that
like,
all
what the
the
fuck?
other pantheons, the souls, when they go to the underworld, it's always in water. It's not through fire. It's
And
in
isn't
water.
hell usually cold, not hot?
I would think that hell would be
Dante's
cold, wouldn't
Inferno.
you?
Baron
Well,
Trump's
because it's
Adventures.
completely dark, right? So even like the quote unquote flames of hell don't really emit heat. I think they emit this pure cold. Maybe you just get frostbite.
Well, the
So that would
lower
burn.
that Baron Trump went down the portal, the more I want to say sea-like, Agartha, like, but people really fucking dumb. That's what I understood in that. They were forgetful and very fucking dumb. And the deeper he went, the more colder it would get. And what? Is there a Muslim hell? Yeah, it's called Jenem. Oh, holy fuck.
Oh.
Wow, just saying it out loud, it was like,
Be gone.
This is the thing that I was thinking is so interesting about the
I rebuke thee.
hellfire is that it's close to jinn. That's what I kept thinking.
Yeah.
And so it's almost like jinn is like it's where
It's
the jinn
Jen.
hang out.
Gen M. It's weird. And then for heaven, it's called Janet. Janet. Net. Nem. I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to figure it out.
Just the letter M.
Jenem. Jen, it's like, how did they spell it?
DJINN.
Hold on. Jenem.
It sounds like denim.
In Arabic.
uh-uh.
It's, well, they say Jahim. Some
I
people
can't
say
decide.
Jahim.
I really love Cotton on Me. This
Yeah.
is off topic for a second.
Janum.
But
Oh.
old jeans, old school jeans, they are not as easy to get on.
No.
Like having a little bit of give in that cotton
I
on
don't
the
necessarily like them anymore.
what
just
old
don't-
school jeans.
Yeah.
Old
So-
jeans. There's a couple
But I
of
got
dealers.
big ass legs, so
You
it
can bring
know.
like your favorite denim to it, and they'll sew you a pair of pants out of your old denim. Because everything for denim's machine cut, a lot of the
Yeah.
old American denim. So finding, even if you're like, I know my exact size, I know my exact Levi number, you're not going to find the same fit.
I could bring him some like big Jinkos and be like, all right, maybe 5 pairs of pants out of this one pair. Thank you.
Did you guys Janko?
I had the Jinkos that made their way to like Marshalls, but I could never afford like the legit Jinkos like without being a regular.
Do you think like a rave scene, the whole entire thing, the music, the lights, the drugs, the people, the like Dionysus festival of it all, do you think it's a portal? Do you think it's opening up energy or giving energy to something, allowing something to come into a space that didn't exist there before?
Yeah, because I know that Burning Man Festival, they'll do themes, and one year they did their theme was Hell on Earth, and it was a fucking portal because they literally conjured hell on Earth. Like I had so many people who had bad experiences at that particular Burning Man that year.
That seems like it would be an awful manifestation.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, oh, here we go. Great idea.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, what else do you guys have going on this week? Any more portal talk?
Porthole.
Porthole.
I always hear it as porthole.
I think
I
portholes are interesting.
Porthole and port is left. So, but I know there's portholes on the right too, on the starboard side. Interesting,
That's
right?
interesting. Yeah, port side and starboard side.
Yeah.
I always thought in my naive brain back when the port side was the side they always pulled up to
Yeah.
land, and the starboard side always stayed toward sea. Like that was my naive brain. That is not the case, or maybe it was. I don't know why they call it that though.
I really don't either. I like you know how I always remember it though? Because like a lot of people don't know which one's right or left, but port is 4 letters, so is left.
That's what every single person I know that's ever been on a boat, that's their thing. You know
You
how
have to.
other things though have like 10 different things from different people in the world. They all have, it's like tying your shoe. There's a million different ways to tie your shoe. But everybody that I know on a boat, that's the maritime thing too. That's different about a boat is like the hierarchy of its government out to sea is so different. Like what happens on a ship, and it's like its own little tiny country.
It is. It's
So
a
wild.
sovereign state.
It's wild. It's wild. What's going on over there, Layla? Oh, your mic's not on.
I'm breaking down the word Janum and Jana. So it's Janum and Jana. So it's like the same fucking word, but male and female. And in my language, Yahana or Jahana means, oh, the moon. And Jahannam means, oh, the beauty. So I don't know. That's just weird. They're both the same word, but with male and female parts.
Mean like Elliot
My
Page.
Maria mentioned it. Like, what the fuck?
Like Elliot Page.
Strange. Gotta go down that rabbit hole now.
Rabbit holes and rabbit holes.
Yeah. What else? What else?
Did you watch JonBenet Ramsey this week?
Nah.
That
Is she
wasn't
back?
yours?
I don't even know.
Did they find her?
I
Katy
knew
Perry?
somebody who worked on the 3D rendering of the houses in the videos. So I wanted to see what it was all about. Like how they broke down this house. And they kept telling me too it took them a while to do this, like a long while. When they kept telling me about this house, they kept telling me, you don't understand the Ramsey house. You don't understand the Ramsey house. And I thought, like, I know most conspiracies, oh yeah, checkerboard floor. And they're like, no, you don't wait until like it's like stairways and spiral staircases and like in
Like
the
a-
ground and
like a Willy Wonka chocolate factory with like hallways that just go into impossible doors.
yes, like
the
they're
Winchester Rifle House.
it like hearing about it made me feel like what's that guy that lived in the middle of nowhere? CC, was that his name? Where he was like a serial killer. Wait, I'll think of his HH.
Oh yeah. The murder devil, the Devil House, or damn, I'm blanking on it too.
I know.
Chicago,
the one in
right?
Chicago.
World's Fair,
Yeah.
Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he would just take people, and it would be so easy, and he would horrify them. That it was like things about the house.
Whenever that comes up, for whatever reason, I just imagine the scene where Casey Anthony is leading the detectives around her like job at Universal Studios, and she's just walking them down like random hallways that go into dead ends. I always thought that was like the new version, like that was the spiritual successor to whoever the HH dude was.
H.H. Holmes, thank you.
HH Holmes, there you go.
I like how my brain, like in the like pulled it up. CC, I almost said CC DeVille.
Cece's Pizza, yeah.
I was like CC DeVille, CC's Pizza. Hey, welcome to CC's. Oh, that was a spell. It said, "Hey, welcome to CC's," and Thomas is gone.
What the fuck does HH stand for? HH Holmes. That's 3 H's. That's 888.
Yeah, if you guys, if nothing else, even though JonBenet Ramsey may not be real, if you guys look at this freaking house, you'll be like, what in the hell? Like, even if you just watch the first, I think it's within the first 20, 30 minutes of the first episode where they like kind of go through, because you have pictures of the living room and pictures of the thing, and they tell you about the basement, and they tell you the dad had a train room where like the sound was extra so he could play with his trains. Like it was all soundproof.
Really?
And this guy also, he had like a CGI company that worked with that got bought by Lockheed Martin. Like the amount of stuff in this documentary for conspiracy theorists is so much. It's on Netflix right now. It's all on John Bonet. It's like the little girl being real or not is like another conspiracy. But this guy literally had a CGI like whole firm, and then he ends up dating Natalie Holloway's mom. I can't.
I gotta watch it, apparently.
You might as well tell me that Casey Anthony babysits for them. Like, you might as well just add to it. But yeah, anytime Lockheed Martin comes up too, it's like
we totally missed out on the best TV series that we never got to have, but it was where O.J. Simpson and Casey Anthony team up to help each other find the actual murders of each of their cases. That would have been the best TV show ever.
I think that's okay, but I can't stop daydreaming about Quentin Tarantino resurrecting Britney Spears' career in some weird off movie. I'm like, this is what I want to see. I want Mariah Carey in it. I want Britney Spears in it. Like, can we take these divas and totally give them different roles, like Quentin Tarantino style? Like, that's what
you just got to make it about feet, and he's in.
That's what made the Britney Spears, man.
God, bro.
She's all into it with the dirty feet, and he loves dirty feet. That's what always makes me think of Quentin.
Well, maybe that has something to do with that post then. Good job. Now my fucking coding brain is going to go to Quentin Tarantino. Where does that connect to those posts?
Well, there's a lot of posts like that are all in the same like suitcase of pictures of like Ray Chandler and Britney Spears and all these people on Epstein Island. Yeah, there's a lot of feet, and Quentin Tarantino like kissing the foot of a child is one of the pictures in that like Rolodex of creepy Hollywood. So who knows? Dirty feet.
Suitcase. Dun, 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 dun. I like my suitcase. Fucking love it. I love it. I do that dance at work, and people just here's a 20. I'm like, yeah, I love it.
They're just planting seeds for the next not the next generation, but like 2 generations or like generation and a half, so that when it's his time.
Oh yeah.
If I had that Elon Musk money, I would totally be shooting these long ass Lord of the Rings budget style TV series, but it would just be about like the last president and Baron Trump's travel to the inside of the world or whatever. That would be so much cooler than any of these other stupid remakes that they're working on.
Why is he so protected? Why isn't he interviewed anymore? Why don't we hear him speak? Like
who?
Baron Trump.
Oh, I don't know. He's been at Mar-a-Lago hanging out with all the peeps.
But never a word. We don't hear a word from him. They keep him like hush hush. Everyone else of Donald Trump's kids are like vocal and out there. He doesn't even have a fucking Instagram, nothing like that.
He was at Doral, the rally I was at. Baron was there.
Really?
It was, I don't remember if they were celebrating something. I'm wanting to say he got accepted to like all these colleges and then decided on a college. I feel like that was it. It might have been his birthday, but I feel like the celebration was about school. Like he graduated in something with college, but he was there. It was tall AF. Like
he's a handsome guy. He's a handsome looking kid or guy. Well, how old is he? How old is he now? 19, 20?
18, I think.
18, yeah.
Well, yeah. What he's going to...
He's autistic now.
He's going to college now.
Briggs.
It is. If you can solve that Britney, something about the key to Britney Spears will solve Brittany Murphy's murder. It all does attach. It sounds so crazy, but the house, and that's where it's even like the Hollywood. It doesn't really matter if you say demons or aliens. It could just be CIA and scopolamine. Like, it wouldn't be hard to just convince you the same way they put a fish on their head, a Mission Impossible mask, and you just be like, oh shit, it's aliens.
Aliens. They're coming, y'all. They're coming. That's it. We're done and over with. I don't think aliens are coming. Personally. That's just my thing. I've seen some weird shit, but I still... Why waste their time on us? Come on. Did you see them all line up and mask up?
Would you guys go to like Mars or the moon?
Like, come on.
Like one of those, like if space travel and space is not fake and gay, would you guys get on board? You watch however many of them go off, the people come back. Like your brother, he's like, hey, me and the boys, we went to the moon and we hung out and then we're back. Layla, you have to go. Like somebody you trust went, like that, in the flesh.
I have to go because why?
Just this is the new vacate. It's like going to the
like the Fifth Element type shit.
Yeah, it's like
Total Recall.
Yeah, they're like,
I saw Total Recall. I don't want to go to Mars.
Or whatever. It's nicer than Total Recall. Like, but whatever it is.
If everyone's doing it, if you jump, I jump, right? Monkey see, monkey do, right? Sure.
If one orca puts a salmon on their head,
I'll do it.
It's fashionable.
I know that would be the funniest orca shit ever. You're like, look at the humans. Whoa, the great orca. That we could probably find some etching in stone and as an orca with a salmon on its head.
I'm kidding. I wouldn't do it because I would have done this if I would have done that, but I didn't, so I wouldn't.
What if you show up and you go to jump onto like the Mars capsule and it says Boeing on the side?
Lockheed Martin.
How about one that says Evergreen on the side? Would you hop on that?
Would you go to
Literal
a state
human trafficking to another planet?
Would you go through a state of hypersleep or some kind of state of prolonged sleep paralysis that they're like, look, we're going to put you to sleep for 20 years. You're not going to age in that 20 years, but we need it for...
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do that without
I got kids, so I couldn't, that eliminates me from this equation. Like,
no husband, no love, no, I'll do it. Fuck yeah. With this mentality, yeah.
I don't know if I would trust anyone to take care of me frozen for years and years and years.
Right.
Like Demolition Man style?
Demolition Man style, but also Demolition Man, how much money did they spend keeping these criminals frozen for, like 100 years? That didn't make any sense. Well, I guess maybe it was just more of that government spending where they're like, well, the government's just like, well, if you give us $100 to take care of Wesley Snipes as an ice cube, then we'll spend 50 on the ice cube and 50 on ourselves. So now there's like an incentive to charge money to do it because they just pocket the difference.
I wonder if they're conscious through the whole experience and they're just suffering in that space in their head the whole time.
I think of that Demolition Man.
Well, they teach him how to knit, right? Like Sylvester Stallone comes back to the like modern society after they thaw him out, and he's really good at knitting things. He's like knitting mittens and knitting blankets. Meanwhile, Wesley Snipes, they taught him how to, like warcraft and spycraft and martial arts and all these cool things.
Holy fuck.
But what if it was like you do it and then it's like Idiocracy and fucking they're watering crops with Gatorade and shit. And you're like the smartest person on the planet. Like, you want that to happen?
Oh my
gosh, it would be so lonely.
Would you do it, Chaney? Would you go like freeze yourself like Walt Disney?
No, I have no real interest in it. But
supposedly
I do
that's not a real thing, right? That Walt Disney didn't
Well,
freeze himself?
that's what Thomas was saying about the Disney Frozen movie being the like, here, we'll do a little smoke
Hide
screen
it.
of Disney
Yeah.
Frozen. And then when people think Disney Frozen, no one will think cryogenically frozen is even real.
That was
But
so real on my timeline.
that was real on my timeline too.
Yeah, yeah.
I think
And
it's real. I mean, there's
It's
still
real,
advocates for it. There's
Yeah.
still entire organizations based around it. The only not real part is that I don't believe anyone's ever found out how to thaw somebody out successfully.
Yeah.
Or maybe they do.
Austin
and they don't want
Powers
us to
too.
know.
There's another one with that.
what?
Austin Powers
With what?
with the cryogenics and stuff.
Oh, yeah. That does happen at the beginning of Austin
Yeah.
Powers.
With him?
Dude, my brain went through an Austin Powers Rolodex. Like, what the fuck were we just talking about with Austin
Because he's like, yeah,
Powers?
because he's from the 60s and he wakes up and it's what,
Yeah.
like 90s, and he's
Oh
like,
shit! Yeah, I totally forgot about that.
Or Encino Man.
yeah, oh yeah.
I think they know how to do it already. Honestly,
Well, just like AI, we know AI has had to have been around for fucking way longer than we think.
Well, do you
Mhm.
think that's part of the thing is in more of a Westworld way is we think as humans, like maybe that gives us a possession idea, even possession, where we're like, oh, the elite are doing these rituals so that they can take over other bodies. But really, the elite don't want a fucking human body. They're trying to perfect robots so that they can upload their consciousness
They can be a
into the
host.
robot. Then they can just have host bodies. Yeah.
Well, I think that's essentially what they're doing, like recording, like with the whole voice recording and everything that we were talking about the last Friday. Like they are that's why they've been recording. That's why they've been recording our conversations on the phone for years. Like we all just thought it was like humans listening in on our conversations. It's been AI this whole time to learn everything about you. Because it's uploading your consciousness whether you agree to it or not.
What about if there was a promise that God would never flood the world again, but there was not a promise that God wouldn't take all the information that actually worked and that he liked to create a better version?
Well, why not? You know,
Isn't
like
that what the Jinn were
Sims
mad?
3,
Isn't
Sims
that
4,
yeah, but
right?
like the Jinn, weren't they mad in some ideas of like humans being God's greatest creation? So they were like, give us 6,000 years, we'll prove you different. And
Well,
so
even the Jinn, the fallen angels, all of it is really kind of the same idea.
I always like the idea that God floods the world and then gives them the rainbow as the covenant of like, I promise I won't ever do this again, as long as you guys don't make this symbol gay.
like it has to be keep it a masculine symbol or
Right?
else.
Yeah. Don't disrespect the rainbow, and I'll keep this promise with you guys.
If I see this on a Care Bear,
Right.
goners.
It's a
If I
covenant.
see this on a flag with some dude with like a leather dog helmet and nipple clamps on, then it's all over again.
That was, can we just like, no joke, like where symbolism would be their downfall a little. Wasn't it kind of wild? The like Biden administration, like it was so like, whoa, this guy is topless with a leather dog mask on and he's running this part, or like, this isn't even a good transgender. They're making us all listen to the penguin as our health secretary.
That guy stole my luggage. Why
Yeah.
is he in charge of the nukes?
Yeah, it was such like a like a cast of characters straight out of Batman. Like that's what we were watching. It was like, here we're going to
Yeah,
the
I
Joker
think
and the
that's kind
Penguin
of
and
what Trump is doing now, though. He's doing the opposite of that. He's like, okay, you guys want to do a whole bunch of picks that piss everybody off? Watch what I can do.
yeah, I think it's the Hall of Justice. It's like Wonder Woman, you know, you got Superman, you got the rich billionaire. It's perfect.
Mm.
I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I think this is the craziest, and the most of the world until they probably reset us again. Sometimes I just wonder if they lead us to this point of hyper technology before they rinse it all away and then start over again. And people were like, there
that's
was
one of
rockets
the
once.
studies on artificial intelligence that I read recently, was that this guy has come up with this theory that a lot of people have bought on whatever, if you believe the Rockefeller education system, but that if true artificial intelligence is real, not just the one that we're seeing now with ChatGPT, but like one that would actually result in singularity, then that if we don't have it now, the most likely outcome is that humanity has many, many, many times gotten right around to the precipice where we're at, but then when they go and actually try and implement singularity, it fails, because otherwise it would have succeeded, and that means we would just be in a simulation. So if we're not in a simulation, we're also in this loop where people keep trying to advance technology to a certain point where there's singularity, but then we fall and a flood happens, or we fall and like we cause all these like extinction level events on ourselves, and that is mathematically the most probable outcome, is that we're just on the next iteration of thinking that we're going to get right to the cusp and that it doesn't go through.
We don't break the glass ceiling. Is that what
Right.
you're
Yeah, and
saying?
you fall all the way back down. The Tower of Babylon falls over and over and over again.
What if space is fake and gay and all the rockets are going to the outer terrains? Do you go there?
I mean, if you want to think of it
Let's
as like
fucking go.
an expansive realm, probably. And you're discovering new worlds or new lands.
Isn't that crazy? You just don't, it's like the Disney cartoon, nah, dog. But the Lord of the Rings, yes.
Watch in 50 years, new continent. Oh my God. I'm telling you. Watch it. We'll be alive probably.
It's weird they're finding new lands, and then they're also they said we were all going to be dead by 2025. Do you remember when lockdowns first happened? In like the first week of lockdowns, it was almost like the news was so fake. It was like, I mean, it always has been, but this was like where they were like, there's dolphins swimming in the Venice canals.
Oh, yeah.
Like just 1 week without
Nature is
humans.
healing.
Nature is finally healing back from our footprint. It was so fucking crazy. They like tried
all those carbon taxes paying off, man.
It's wild. Wild times. Dolphin. All right. Well, do you guys have anything you want to tell everyone to come find you at this week?
No, but I will say, if y'all aren't investing where you need to be investing, start investing for your future kids, for your future generations. Don't miss out on the biggest wealth transfer of your life. Please don't do it to yourself. I know crypto. I know the whole fucking, I know, but sometimes you have to play the game to beat the game. In the Matrix, they go back into the game so they could try to beat it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
I like how loud that itch was.
Amen.
During it.
Just saying.
Yeah. Thomas, do you have anything going on this week?
Yeah, I mean, we've got 10 days left in the Illuminati comic that I've been doing with Donut, and we're getting so close to the next big milestone, which is at 33,000. We're at 31 and change right now, so I feel pretty confident that we're going to hit that in this next week or so. But yeah, this is the last 10 days that you'll ever have a chance to back a project of this size and this magnitude with all these cool custom exclusive perks and stuff. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, or you do know what I'm talking about, just go to illuminaticomic.com and grab a copy. As cheap as $5 for a digital, and then there's a whole bunch of tiers that kind of work up from there.
Oh, nice.
Nice. Y'all, do I look orange? I look orange. I'm noticing it. Orange man, bad.
That's where my
I
mind
mean,
went.
compared to everyone on screen.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
look orange as fuck. What the fuck?
Did you get a spray tan?
No.
It's got to be your lighting.
Maybe it's a regular light bulb. It's not a LED. So maybe that,
I like orange.
I do.
Orange man bad. All right, Abbie, do you have anything going on this week? I will get you that video. We'll figure out that, and you should upload it to your channels.
Yeah.
But anything else?
No, my birthday is Monday, but that's it. So
Uh-oh. You guys,
I
you
gotta go take
can
my car into be serviced on
first
that day.
and foremost go to Britney Spears' page and wish her a happy birthday. And then after
have
you do
to.
that, you can find Abbie and wish her a happy birthday too on the same day as B Spears.
When's her birthday again? The 21st of December, right?
The second.
12:02.
Oh, the second.
Yep.
12:02. All right, you guys, we love you so much. Thank you for hanging out with us like you always do. We will see you Sunday to talk about our ovaries and our periods.
Yeah, and
stuff.
sex and
Nails,
penises
nail emoji.
and pussy.
All right,
Lots of
and
pussy.
go to illuminaticomic.com and support Donna and Thomas. So
Hit me up.
XOXO, Gossip Girl.
Good night.
Britney Spears, can we be saved? God, why is Satan controlling the universe?
The world we used to think we knew is constantly exposing woo. Our possibilities come true. So what we do is call out to the good guys, good guys. Witches, widows, MAGA, mystics, entertaining cunning linguists, good guys. The forum of the quorum needs a secretive society to advance our philosophies intentionally, magically, good guys. Conspiracy, sex, culture, makings, it's okay to change your thinking, good guys. Good guys, good guys, good guys. The world we used to think we knew is constantly exposing woo. Our possibilities come true. So what we do is call out to the good guys, good guys. Witches, widows, MAGA, mystics, entertaining cunning linguists, good guys. The forum of the quorum needs a secretive society to advance our philosophies intentionally, magically, good guys. Conspiracy, sex, culture, makings, it's okay to change your thinking, good guys. Good guys, good guys, good guys.
You're still here? It's over.